$13.95 standard installation with free haul away of your old tank. A proud sponsor of AM 560, you'll save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on tankless and atmospheric vent water heaters with CenterGuard Plumbing. Plus, get 10% off any licensed plumbing contractor competitor's price. CenterGuard Plumbing is Chicagoland's same-day water heater experts. Call before noon and they can schedule your repair or install the same day on in-stock water heaters. You're only a text away from install today. Call 847-406-8883. Mention AM 560 to receive spring special pricing. That's 847-406-8883. Call or text 847-406-8883 or visit centerguardplumbing.com.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
It's not just the politicians that never worked a day in their lives. It's the people who comment on the politicians, whether it's the boob tube as you know it, or these new, not that new, podcasts, who are hiding under the skirt of Joe Rogan, the only one that does it right. But all these other ones, how do they get their money? They're not like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan gets his money from a company. How do these dime store propagandists who never worked a day in their life get their money? Is it from AIPAC or is it from Qatar? Oh, are we going to have fun today? Chin strap tight. We're going to knock around these idiots after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. Clouds and sunshine with a high near 60. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. An arson investigation continues after 4 were killed, including 2 foster children in a West Englewood fire. 2 foster children, both teen brothers, remain in serious condition at Comer Children's Hospital after that fire that police say may have been set on purpose. Felony charges have been filed against 2 accused of battering Chicago police officers responding to a call on the city's southwest side Tuesday evening. 30-year-old Monica May has been charged with 2 felony counts of aggravated battery to a peace officer. The second suspect, 33-year-old Michael Sofer, has been charged with 1 felony count of aggravated battery to a peace officer, causing great bodily harm, and other charges. A construction worker is dead after falling from a roof in Palatine yesterday. Police say the incident happened in the 400 block of West Mahogany Court. The accident remains under investigation. The news is a service of the AM 560 store. Order T-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Proft University and the Shaun Thompson Show. When you go to 560theanswer.com/store. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report. A volatile trading session with the major averages ending higher and reversing earlier losses, and the Dow notching a record close following reports that Iran is reviewing a U.S. peace deal. Oil prices moderated with West Texas Intermediate crude at around $98 a barrel. The Magnificent 7 big cap tech stocks were mostly higher, led by Tesla and Amazon. However, Nvidia shares fell over 1.5%, despite the AI darling delivering a blockbuster earnings report, including a strong forecast and boosting its dividend. Apple stock rose 1% for its second straight record close. The Dow winners, IBM, Honeywell, and Amgen. The Dow decliners, Walmart, Caterpillar, and Salesforce. The Dow rising 276 points, the Nasdaq higher by 23, S&P 500 up 13. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Hugh Hewitt explains his thoughts on the California race.
This is one of those times I'm beginning to feel bad for my old home of California. Steve Hilton should be the next governor. I don't know if it's going to work out. But the leading Democrats have kept falling. Now we're down to Javier Becerra. Wonderful guy to sit next to in a restaurant. Not to talk with. We're talking about an empty soup.
The Hugh Hewitt Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Alex Marlowe at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 30% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. 800-LIFELOCK. 1-800-LIFELOCK or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
Rick Borick talks about the risk of being in the stock market right near retirement.
It's easy to drive around with no seatbelt on if you never think you're going to have an accident, right? And you go, well, it's never going to go down. I don't need protection for my portfolio. We're a big fan of getting those gains, but we're also a bigger fan of not taking huge losses.
Unleash your wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
You know, protecting your home should not be a headache. Many security companies, they lock you into these multi-year contracts. No, Simply Safe Home Security, they do things differently. With Simply Safe, you get award-winning 24/7 professional monitoring around $1 a day without any long-term commitment. Simply Safe, they just want to earn your trust every day by doing a great job. Right now, you'll get 50% off your custom system by going to simplysafe.com/Hannity. Half off when you go to simplysafe.com/Hannity. And remember, there's no safe like Simply Safe.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the inbound Edens, there is an accident reported at Wilson, making that a 45-minute trip in from Lake Cook Road to Montrose. Outbound side checks in clearly. Kennedy, just under an hour. Jane Byrne Interchange to O'Hare. Those express are slowing North Avenue to Irving Park. In the inbound, Eisenhower solid from the Jane Addams out to Route 390, and that's due to an earlier accident. Also, there's one at North Avenue in the left lane. It's an hour and 25 going in the reverse 1 hour. Stevenson outbound just under an hour to 355, and the outbound Ryan 30 minutes. Heavy along the Tri-State and DuSable Lakeshore Drive in both directions. Jane Addams, Reagan are fine and starting to slow southbound 355. This report is a service of the daily podcasts of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcast at 560theanswer.com/podcast. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be cloudy with a low of 50. On Friday, expect mostly cloudy skies with breezy conditions and a high of 67. Friday night will bring cloudy skies with a couple of showers and a low of 55. Saturday will start with a passing morning shower, then remain mostly cloudy throughout the day with a high of 66. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag.
APEC doesn't register with FARA. APEC doesn't register with FARA. Isn't that a shame? Does anybody know that APEC is started by Americans, you stupid son of a dog? And FARA is for foreign entities, you moron? Does anybody know that APEC is also subjected to the Lobbying Disclosure Act, known as the LDA, which is the exact same fracking thing? Does everybody listen to podcasters? And by the way, when I say this, it gives a certain virtue because there's only one that does any good with anything. There's only one that is thought-provoking, that has an experience of his own life that's lived, and that's Rogan. Joe Rogan is by far the best podcaster, but he's paid because Spotify loved him. And Spotify said, I like the cut of your jib, you handsome son of a gun. You're going to get hired. And Spotify is going to pay you, and you're a company. So not all podcasts are created equal, especially Tucker Carlson, that country club butter-handed pansy. Now, we've covered for quite a while, Tucker Carlson has never worked, ever in his life, outside of propaganda. And he's a second-generation propagandist. His father ran Voice of America, a CIA front, Voice of America. His father was the head of Voice of America from 1987, really 88. He's the reason we fluffed up Bush Sr., that rat CIA head, scum. And Tucker Carlson, I'll tell you, what I love about him, he's like a Chicago Democrat alderman. For $500, you'll get this stupid son of a gun to say anything.
He'd need to say, look, I'm a bigot, okay? I'm a bigot. I don't like Islamic extremists. Like, if you are really heavily into Islam, I'm sorry, I don't care for you that much. And I don't care what that sounds like. You can call me a racist. You can call me whatever the f*** you want. I'd vote for you if you said that.
Mockery of Islam. And no president should mock Islam. That's not your job.
I got whatever I'll mock right here. I mock you, country club, good-for-nothing Sally, that you are. Multi-generation propagandist fraud. And that's just Tucker. Now, the reason you know Tucker is because his father, and he got a job the same way Chicago Democrats got it. The father carves the pathway. To call it the normal I got a guy isn't big enough, because Tucker worked for numerous networks, and now he has this podcast. And I always wondered, boy, did you start it the way I started LLCs? Did you go down, you talk to, maybe you look at, you start the LLC, you get an attorney, set up the account. Is that how you started it, Tucker? Yeah, I didn't think so.
Tucker Carlson's network, the seed money came from a guy named Omid Malik, who's a Pakistani Iranian. He's Pakistani Iranian descent, put up $15 million to start that network. We know
Omid Malik, very interesting guy, huge Democrat, right up until Trump won. Then he kind of was like a Trumper, except in 2020 when he was a backer for. But it's very important to understand, this isn't just a rumor. Here is Omid Malik Gatsan-Gul. Here he is, right here.
And, I'm happy to say that one of the first investments our new fund made was putting Tucker Carlson in business with his new network.
So that's who he takes the frackin' orders from, isn't it, Tucker? But here's $50. I want you to change something else. And you start to look at exactly who these scoundrels are. And all of the modern day wave, the wave of what is called anti-Semitism, but is really pro-Islamo-Nazi. Maybe anti-Jew, but really anti-American. Pro-Islamo-Nazi.
Our country is under a hostile occupation.
Israeli occupation of the United States government.
Israel controls our government.
Israel controls our government.
Control and influence and manipulate our system.
Now, I believe this is this punk who pretends he's from Berwyn. I think I know his whole family. I think they're originally from Melrose Park, if memory serves me correct, the Chicos. I know his uncle very well, dead. I know them all. And I was thinking to myself, what the hell does this kid know? He's got his Sunday communion costume on, little tie, in his basement with a green screen behind him. Who pays this scumbag?
And controlled and manipulated by the nation state of Israel.
They are vampires. They suck our blood.
They suck the life out of this country.
We cannot be slaves to Israel.
I'm not a slave to Israel.
Iran does not have a nuclear weapon.
Iran did not have a nuclear arsenal.
And all of a sudden, all these young guys, all these young people, oh, he sounds good. After all, he's got a communion suit on, right? Forget about what he really is. Aside from a moron, he's a cultist. That's all he is.
Raise your right hand. All right, everybody raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I will kill, rape, and die for Nicholas J. Fuentes.
Whose mother's from Melrose. Whose entire family is from where? Who never worked. Let's hear this again from this little punk bitch. Let's hear it again.
Raise your right hand. All right, everybody raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I will kill, rape, and die for Nicholas J. Fuentes. Raise your right hand. All right, everybody raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I will kill, rape, and die for for Nicholas J. Fuentes.
Now, I actually feel kind of bad for this punk because I knew his Uncle Joey. Oh, I did, Squirrel. We used to ride the bike together, grade school. Used to call my mother Ma, and I called his mother Ma. I know his mother, too. Know them all. But I never understood it. I mean, after all, it's obvious who's paying this kid. You do know that, right? You don't think he goes out and sells commercials and has advertisers. Do you? Is that what you think? Do you think that these podcasts, even Megyn Kelly, what's Megyn Kelly's big accomplishment? She used to carry Amy Jacobson's makeup bag. Ooh, look at you. That's her big accomplishment. So you don't understand the difference. And people would come up to me, why don't you do a podcast? Why would I downgrade myself? How many guys are playing for the majors and they say, you know what, I'm going to go back and play b-ball. Is that how that works? Because that's what this is. And this is even worse because all it takes is just one or two corrupt scumbags. And the next thing you know, you have all kinds of guys saying all kinds of nonsense.
And when people win in a race like this, there's evidence of it. And that evidence takes very familiar forms. Enthusiasm, joy, and just sheer numbers. Like people show up. They can't believe it. We beat the evil Thomas Massey with his jihadi backers. This is a blow against Islamic Jihad, whatever that is.
Whatever that is. Hey, stupid. Weren't you in the news? I watched you on the news. You played numerous clips way back when Obama was running. Don't you remember about CARE and the Islamic plan to take over America? Isn't that right, stupid? Country club butter-handed pansy?
America, okay, if we don't want them to implement secularism, so what do we want them to implement? They say that America now, okay, there is not enough Muslims for them and to implement Islam.
This is last week. I mean, Tucker, I could have played him from 20 years ago when Tucker made his money on Fox. But what he said then is like what he says now. He didn't say anything he ever believed. You don't know what he believes. He's a $2 whore. He'll say anything, like his mother.
But now it is our challenge as du'at, as intellectuals, as academic, to present solutions based on Islamic values, but in the second level degree, not to tell them replace secularism with Islam. It won't work. Yeah, presenting Islam as a civilizational alternative. This needs from us a different way of addressing this generation, addressing, in fact, the whole world, trying to get into key positions where you are influencing the decisions, yani decision making. If we are, whatever we do, and we are not influentials, we cannot influence the how politics is running. We are not influence the decision-making processes.
We know that if we were to do...
So here's the funny thing. They tell you what the plan is. This is the beauty of the modern-day Islamo-Nazi and how they fight the war.
Islam will enter every house. Something we all believe in, and we do not have any doubts.
Yeah, but I like my women mature. You don't mind if I focus on some of the details, do you? Because that religion you got, I find so much of it repulsive. Is that okay if I say that, right, Squirrel? Because I don't remember the Jew knocking on my door saying, you have to be a Jew now. Come on! You're going to be a Jew. Yeah, denounce Christ. I don't remember any of that. I don't remember the Amish coming over with that costume saying, put on this hat and I'll sell you my great heater that nobody can figure out how it works. I don't even remember the Scientologists. Hold the rods of truth if you want to be an action star. It helps, but I don't remember that being a qualification. This is the only religion that tells you there can be no other religion. And now, the nice way they do it with Tucker is they just buy him. They just bribe him.
I know that for a fact. It's public knowledge. There was a nonprofit here in the United States that receives its funding from Qatar that pays $180,000 a month, and they paid Tucker to interview the Emir, I believe it was, of Qatar, so on and so forth. So it's unquestionable. We know that there are trips. Tucker's been to Qatar recently. He said it openly. He said it, and we can go through some of those clips if you want. He said it openly at Turning Point.
Is Qatar extreme in their Islam?
So they play both sides very, very well. But here's what we know for certain. They openly, since October 7th, have given hundreds of millions of dollars to Hamas. $350 million for sure, like right after it.
You know how many Qatarians there are, Squirrel? It's fascinating. A little tiny country. A little tiny. You know how many of them there are? 350,000 Qatarians. Why would they give $1 billion between American bribery of politicians, tripling what AIPAC gives? Tripling. You remember the Jews, Nick Fuentes and this Caspin and every other podcaster moron.
Supreme leader of Iran promulgated a fatwa.
I got your fatwa
against nuclear
right
weapons.
here.
We had to join Israel's war of choice.
A war of choice. That's what this is.
The real threat to America is from Israel.
Our alliance with Israel as an existential threat to the United States.
They will nuke the entire world.
Israel is the biggest threat to world peace.
And just think, it only cost Qatar 3 times what AIPAC gives to politicians and media. 3 times is what the Qatarians spend on bribing politicians and know-nothing, do-nothing podcasters.
Let's talk AIPAC. I'm sure that you've seen the graphics and the headlines about how Israel controls our country, right?
Absolutely.
And at first glance, it's easy to believe because there's so much information out there, but I wanted to know the facts, so I went down a rabbit hole and I looked it all up. So let's start with the Foreign Agents Registration Act. That's called FARA. Basically, if you work for a foreign country trying to influence American policy, you got to register under this law, right? So who signed up? Qatar, they have 31 registered agents. Israel has 15, more than double. I also found out that from 21 to 25, Qatari agents had 627 in-person meetings with members of Congress. That's 300 more meetings than any other country on the earth, including Israel. Now, about AIPAC, they're made up of Americans lobbying their own government. Just like Indian Americans have USIPAC, Armenian Americans have ANCA, the Greek Americans have HALC, H-A-L-C, Ukrainian Americans have
as a foreign affair.
UCCA, Muslim Americans have
FARA.
CARE, MPAC, USCMO, and dozens more.
Stupid
And none of these groups
bastards.
are really the problem. The real problem is foreign government money. I mean, Qatar spent roughly $250 million on U.S. lobbying. Saudi Arabia around $310 million. UAE is in the 4th most active country. It's 3 Gulf states. China, $500 million. Japan, $400 million. And as a comparison, AIPAC and the entire broader pro-Israel network gave around $100 million in the 24 cycle.
A mere pittance compared to these morons dressed with my Uncle Charlie's tablecloth on their head, dressing like you're selling me 3-hump camels. But there's no fatwa. There's no Islamic master plan, is there? Is there?
Islamists aren't coming here looking for a better life. That's a true fallacy. They're coming here to impose their radical beliefs on us and to mooch off the American taxpayers. Game, set, match. That's it.
That's right, Tommy Tuberville. And then there's the other downside.
Child marriage is mubah. It's not haram. It's not wajib. It's mubah.
There is no minimum age prescribed for an allowable Islamic marriage. So a boy or girl could get married very early.
Child marriage. What age group are you talking about?
You go through puberty, and puberty can start as young as 6 or 7 years old.
Get the hell out of here, you sick bastards! Repulsive. 312-642-5600.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $283. There are only 2 good things about aging, wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part? My guidance costs you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Health insurance rates are surging in America, leaving millions without affordable options. If you're sick of having paychecks eaten up by healthcare costs or dealing with mega corporations, then listen to this. Christians don't need to waste money on a broken system. That's why I want to tell you about Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's an alternative to traditional health insurance at half the cost. With CHM, fellow believers contribute monthly to help pay each other's medical bills. There's no enrollment period, so you can join anytime. And you aren't restricted to provider networks, so you choose the doctors and hospitals you want. It's that simple. CHM is not insurance. It's a ministry that puts faith into action. Feel the difference of financial support and biblical care from fellow believers. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
AM 560.
The Answer. You gotta see this. Tucker Carlson, in one of the most amazing pieces of propaganda I've ever seen, is now trying to convince you that Qatar is better for Christians than Israel. So let's do a little fact checking. He says,
so there are twice as many Christians living in Qatar as there are in Israel. Did you know that?
I guess what he forgot to mention were that there are 0 Qatari Christian citizens in the entire country. The only Christians there are entirely made up of migrant workers from Philippines, Europe, and India who live.
So the slaves are there. That's what Tucker was talking about, right, stupid?
And there's a massive effort on the part of the left to import a lot of Muslims here for whatever reason. And I'm not against it necessarily, but I just think that it's really important for people to assimilate to the values of the country to which they're moving.
Wait, that was when he was getting paid by Fox. It's completely different now.
The greatest leader I've ever met in the world is literally a king. It's MBZ Sheikh Mohammed of Abu Dhabi, who is Muslim. I am definitely not Muslim. I'm Christian, Protestant Christian. And so I don't agree with his religion, and I don't agree with monarchies, but he's the best leader in the world.
So I don't, but he is. You fraud.
And I'm worried that they won't because it's so different. Their attitudes are so different from ours.
They basically have, in a lot of ways, the same social values, broadly speaking, of course. They're not Christian, they're Muslim. But broadly speaking, very similar social values to...
Similar social value? Wait a minute. Wait, where's the Christian social value that says you could marry a 6-year-old? Show me that, because I'll go there myself and rip it down.
Child marriage is mubah. It's not haram. It's not wajib. It's mubah.
There is no minimum age prescribed for an allowable Islamic marriage. So a boy or girl could get married very early.
Child marriage. What age group are you talking about?
You go through puberty, and puberty can start as young as 6 or 7 years old.
If I'm 80, I can marry a girl, she's a woman. What's the problem?
If she's 13, you're married. You're allowed to marry her. You can
Why
marry.
not?
Oh my
God!
Scum. Just like us. Just like us. Which section is that? I missed it. Kevin, Las Vegas.
Shaun, you're right on with Nick Fuentes. I got a recovering Democrat buddy who sends me, he's like halfway there, man. He's so close to getting it. He sends me Fuentes clips all the time. I mean, it's just the same regurgitated. The guy's a Democrat. He's telling everybody you should vote Democrats right now to teach the Republicans a lesson. Like, are you kidding me?
He's a child.
It's unbelievable.
What did he ever do?
Yeah.
He ever work a day in his fracking life? And then when you hear, listen, I don't know anything about these people. And the reason I was introduced to him is the same way you got introduced to him. A friend of mine sent me this. Oh, you should listen to this kid. He's from. I said, wait a minute. Is this a Chico? I know his mother. I know his whole family. And when you hear this come out of anybody's mouth.
Raise your right hand. All right, everybody raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I will kill, rape, and die for Nicholas J. Fuentes.
That ain't me saying it. That's him on his Playpen podcast. Get the hell out of here.
You're done.
Anybody says that to you, you put your dukes up and you go down swinging. Punk little bitch that he is. I don't like those kind of people. Thank you very much, Kevin. I appreciate the call. Greg LaGrange.
Hey, good afternoon. I guess, the big problem here I see is these people should be ignored for what they are. Our country is based, I'll just say, I'll focus on Poland really quickly. God, family, and fatherland. I'll focus on our United States, e pluribus unum, out of many one. We have a constitution. We're a democratic republic. We need to get back to family values. We don't have time to listen to these crackpots.
But see, this is why I took it on. This is why I took it on today. You understand, Greg? You're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars to propaganda for the Qataris, for the Islamo-Nazi. This is and the kids. We're lucky. We're blessed with reason. We were raised right. We're blessed to think and reason. This is sweeping a lot of these young kids into this bulldung of these children because they think this is media. They don't understand what it is. It's for-hire propaganda. I got the greatest compliment ever today by a guy who's probably a lifelong anti-Republican guy. He might not be a full Democrat, but he definitely hates all Republicans. And you know what he said about you? He goes, I'm trying to figure the number for you to say something that you disagree with. I said, offer me $100 million to tell you the vaccine is safe or Joe Biden won the election. Offer me $1 trillion. Offer me $1 trillion to say that the Islamo-Nazi cultists in Iran are just like us, like Tucker Carlson said, or Saudi. Try to bribe me. You know why? Money doesn't matter when you love yourself, when you love your country. I don't give a rip about their fracking money, rat pigs.
Here's the important thing, Shaun. This game has been played before. If anybody that knows Soviet history knows that the Soviets sowed a very insidious plan in their takeover of the Russian people. They put out a newspaper of the same title as the government newspaper, and they put their information in there. They confused the people by these signals.
And it worked for 76 years, Bo. I don't have 76 years. Do you?
I mean, Yuri Bezmenov singled this out, and this is what social media has become. We need to build stronger individuals through God, family, and country.
Yeah. So well, I'm going to do it. You don't mind if I do it by knocking these morons off their ass, and I mean onto their ass and off their little high horse, do you? You don't mind if I punch them in the face each and every time and remind you what Tucker Carlson is, or this punk kid, or Megyn Kelly. Do you mind? Corey Woodlawn.
Hey, thanks for taking the call, Shaun. You were so right about Qatar. Qatar has everything outside of marriage is an extramarital sex law against that. So if you're raped by somebody, you tend not to come forward because you have to admit to extramarital sex.
It's insane. So you know how stupid you have to be. You follow the rules of these fracking idiots, haram and bug. Get the hell out of here. And by the way, nobody's putting a tablecloth on me ever.
Hey, Shaun, I do want to say this. You and Dan have the best show in the entire country.
Oh, thank you.
Keep
bro.
doing what you're doing, Dan.
Thank you,
Shaun.
It's all right. You can confuse me. I'm shorter and better looking, but I know what you meant. Thank you, babe. We'll be back.
Marxists, socialists, and communists are not welcome on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Anthony and John here from Bionic Auto Parts, proud clients of Signature Bank. We deliver high-quality, recycled or remanufactured auto parts to Chicago and Milwaukee. Our mission is simple: provide parts safely, reliably, with great customer satisfaction.
We process over 350 vehicles a month. With big banks, everything took forever. Layers of approvals and endless delays. At Signature Bank, one call got it done. Whether it's lending, deposits, or treasury management, they deliver fast. Signature Bank made us feel like family. That's a partnership we deeply appreciate.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature Bank at 773-467-5600 or visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
312-642-5600 is the number if you want to participate in the show. Now, if you like to get together the way I do, with all of the decent people in this radio audience, the ones who listen, the ones who support the station, the ones who understand what the purpose of this station is, then join us for the annual golf outing. Sponsored in part by Signature Bank. And once again, we partner with Tunnel to Towers Foundation, one of, if not the greatest organizations for veterans and first responders out there. Started out of a tragedy and delivering absolute blessings. Tunnel to Towers Foundation. June 15th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. We have foursomes and twosomes available. Breakfast tea times, afternoon tea times. You'll see it all there. Go to 560theanswer.com/golf. And if you make the decisions for a business or you own one, take advantage of one of the best advertising opportunities out there, because the people who listen to this show, Dan's show, this station, they're the ones that make the world go around. We are the producers, the workers, whether it's loading a dock, whether it's owning a company that owns the dock. This all happens here with the audience. So when you go to 560theanswer.com/golf and you buy a foursome, we here at AM 560 throw in 25 one-minute commercials, which is a fantastic deal, especially if you say, I'll take 50, 30 seconds. But that's just for you and the negotiating team after you go to 560theanswer.com/golf to air 7 days a week, 5 in the morning till 8 in the evening. Check it all out for yourself. Best deal in advertising. When we get back, we're going to go to the lines. I've got Glenn and George and Terry and Phyllis. 312-642-5600 after Mike Scott.
Thanks, Shaun. Clouds and sun for the afternoon. We'll hit a high near 60. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. An arson investigation continues here in Chicago after 4 were killed, including 2 foster children in a West Englewood fire. 2 other foster children, both teen brothers, remain at Comer Children's Hospital in stable condition after that fire that police now say may have been set on purpose. Amy Bach, the convicted ringleader of the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme in Minnesota, is being sentenced today.
Feeding Our Future was intended to feed poor kids during the pandemic. It ended up a boondoggle, and prosecutors say taxpayers got scammed for $250 million. Now, in a pre-sentencing filing, U.S. Attorney Daniel Rosen wrote the brazen and staggering nature of her crimes, meaning Bach, has shaken Minnesota to its core.
Former Golden State Warriors assistant and longtime NBA veteran Jerry Stackhouse is reportedly in consideration to be the next head coach of the Chicago Bulls. Cubs host the Astros tomorrow. White Sox visit San Fran. The news service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. Your next news comes your way at 5. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. Up next in the AM 560 Traffic Center, here is Jill Urchak.
Watch out for delays on the inbound side of the Edens. A crash just cleared before Montrose. That delay was starting at Pratt. It should be easing up by now. It is about 50 minutes in. The outbound side, you will see delays from Waukegan Road to the Spur. On the Kennedy out, 50 downtown to O'Hare. Eisenhower going out. That one slows at 1 hour and 5. Post Office to 390. Stevenson outbound side, a 55-minute ride to Saba Lakeshore Drive out to 355. Going out on the Dan Ryan, 30 minutes. Express lanes are tight. Pershing to Marquette. Tight conditions outbound 57, 175th down to I-80. And DuSable Lakeshore Drive is solid either way. We're seeing delays on the Tri-State, also southbound the exit ramp at Dixie Highway. That is blocked with police activity. Jane Addams and Reagan look good and a bit tight southbound 355. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect cloudy skies with a low of 50. Moving into Friday, it'll be mostly cloudy and breezy with a high of 67. Friday night will bring cloudy conditions with a couple of showers and a low of 55. As we head into Saturday, anticipate a passing morning shower followed by thick cloud cover and a high of 66. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Hey, if you're living with joint pain, listen up. I want you to try something different. You don't have to live in pain every day. Have a conversation with my friends at QC Kinetics and tell them I sent you when you do. They offer all-natural regenerative treatments for joint pain. I've seen the results and personally recommend Dr. Caravelli and her team. Stop saying to yourself, this is just how I am now. That's not okay. Get back to the normal you, the one who is active and carefree. QC Kinetics is helping AM 560 listeners with pain from arthritis or injury in their knees, hips, and shoulders. Now they're moving again, golfing and running without surgery or long recovery. The science is real. The treatments are natural. Your body knows how to heal. QC Kinetics will show you how without surgery. Don't watch summer pass you by again, stuck on your couch, afraid to move. Take action today. Schedule an appointment right now. Consultations are free. Call 312-827-6261. That number again, 312-827-6261. Call QC Kinetics at 312-827-6261.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878.
Raj Shah, host of Unleash Your Wealth.
You know, there are a lot of clients and people coming in from the radio into our office saying, I don't want to lose any money. I need to protect the money I have saved over the last 20 or 30 years, where you have strategies where you can structure an income stream where it has an inflation protection so that as inflation, if it continues to go up, your income will go up.
Unleash Your Wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Selling your firearms? Get top dollar from national collectors. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
I think U.S. aid, military aid to Israel and the implied security guarantees, some explicit but many implied security guarantees of the United States to Israel probably haven't helped Israel that much long term. You know, it's a rich country with a highly capable population. Like every other country, it's probably best if it makes its decisions based on what it can do by itself.
That country couldn't exist without, not for a week without U.S. backing.
America's supporting Israel because it's an ally.
I don't even know what those words mean. I'm just saying my principle
they're an ally, right? I mean, they both...
I don't know what that means to be an ally.
Get him to say anything. Hey, we're going to revoke your membership. Now say this, fraud. Glenn, Orlando.
Hey, Shaun. You're. I know you're shorter and better looking, than Dad, but I love that. That's hilarious. Anyway, when I was working every year, we had to sign a document for integrity, and we had to swear that we would not accept gifts or money, or even the appearance of being bribed. Otherwise, we would be terminated immediately. We had to sign it every year, and see, integrity is the cornerstone of everything. If you have no integrity, nothing else will be built on your reputation.
Well, there's also
so if you're taking money or gifts from a foreign country, you don't have loyalty to the United States.
Do you know? I'm going to tell you something. Most people don't realize how radio is, and I didn't. I never did radio. I worked my whole life in a plethora of different arenas of income. Right. So when I get to radio and when I start doing it, I start filling in. I said, I'm not going to say anything I don't want to say ever. Do you know that they have never fought me on anything? They have never told me what to say. Not once. It's a Christian company and a conservative company. They've never said, don't say this and say that, and you should say this and you should talk about that. Not ever. I don't give a rip about money. But if you're gonna go against something that I said, if I'm gonna say something today that's completely different from how I live my life or how I grew up, I'm a scumbag. And I don't give a rip how much money's involved. I got to brush my teeth in the morning. But I don't. You know what's amazing, Glenn? How few people think like that. There are people out there that for dirty fracking paper, 50% of it, maybe it's when you make your money honestly, you don't have the respect for it as people who never did. 50% of it is taxes anyway. The other 50%, you're going to blow very little of it on yourself. Would you sell your character out for that? Of course not.
Never. You cannot have divided loyalty. And if you accept gifts or money, you have divided loyalty.
And you know what? Character is like a very expensive watch. Once you turn it in, you can never really get it back. And that's the exact same thing. Tucker Carlson, as far as I'm concerned, I always had my eye on him because I knew what he was. I never liked him at CNN. Then he came to Fox. He was 100 degrees different, 180 degrees different. And then you look at the old man. The old man was an asset for the CIA with the Voice of America. For old man Bush, who was undermining Reaganomics, undermining Reagan the whole time. So it's a very interesting reality we live in. But you know the difference between when we were young and now? Any kid could flip on his basement, put on his communion suit, and pretend to be a podcaster. That's the difference. You have to be more vigilant now, Glenn. Thank you very much for the call. George, Naperville.
Shaun, did you ever see Lawrence of Arabia?
Of course I did. What are you, nuts?
Well, I know you're against the outfits and everything, but when they're on the camels and they're fighting, I mean, it looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then I got this to say. Do you know what Noel Coward said about Peter O'Toole in that movie?
I do not know what Newell. It's going to be gross, isn't it? But go ahead.
If he was any more beautiful, he would have been Florence of Arabia.
That's fantastic. That's just my kind of creepy right there. I'll never forget. I had this rough guy, and my grandfather had the auto parts store, and everybody was afraid of him in the neighborhood. In that movie, Thornbirds was on. Did you ever see Thornbirds, Squirrel? Richard Chamberlain and Rachel Ward. Oh, you want to talk about the sexiest woman naturally on TV? That's got to be the 80s. Was Rachel Ward. She was fantastic. And Richard Chamberlain, he plays a priest, and they have this romance. It's called Thornbirds. And he kisses her, at the end of the movie, finally kisses her. This rough guy who probably buried more people than Mount Carmel came in and said, boy, I tell you what, that Richard Chamberlain, when he kissed Rachel Ward, I didn't know what he was going to say. I would have kissed him. You're looking at Richard Chamberlain. That seemed a little weird to me back then, but still makes me laugh today. Terry, Chirac.
Hey, Shaun, you know when they talk about this millionaire tax and all that, on the street, wouldn't that be called strong-arm robbery? And that exit tax, Democrats like to beat a dog. They don't like to see it run away. And the third thing is, last one, I know you have an image, but when you guys were at that cigar fest that you and Proft and them, did you get mistaken for Larry, Curly, and Moe?
I do not have an image, and we are none of the Three Stooges, and you weren't there, tough guy. Come and say that to my face, see how you do. You know how long I've been kicking half-ass hard-ons from the South Side's ass? Do you have any idea? A long time. You wouldn't last 5 seconds, Mo. You've been calling for your mother. Spitting teeth. Get the hell out of here. Southsiders. All the same, Squirrel. They really are. But they're pliable, which is nice. And they're unlike Tucker Carlson, they might not sell their character for sale, but they will conform if you threaten to beat them about the head, neck, breast, and chest area. When it comes to Tucker, he's pulling the stolen election card. Not the one that we all talked about when people wanted you to believe that Joe Biden received 18 million more votes than Hillary Clinton, 16 million more than Barack Obama. But Tucker's calling an election stolen because he didn't see anybody in the room who didn't vote for Massey.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. There's no one there. What percentage of the people in that room know Ed Galroon or are related to him? Are his neighbors were paid to be there? We don't know the answer. There's nobody there. So how'd this guy win? Well, he won on mail-in ballots. And we'll sort of leave it to online sleuths to determine whether that's legitimate or not. Who knows?
Oh, so Tom Massey had the election stolen? Let's do it again. Let's do it again. And you know the difference between the people who vote for scumbags and the people who vote to throw them out? It's only the ones that vote for scumbags that demand anonymity. We're proudly vote for who we like. It's you, cowards, you backstabbing frauds that need a ballot that's blind and anonymity. I'll go proud as a peacock and vote against anybody who bribed Tucker Carlson or any of these other $2 whore podcasters. 312-642-5600.
He's Shaun Thompson.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
And this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. Is the war with Iran worth it? The cost at this point is the loss of 13 American soldiers and scores more seriously wounded. If, as widely expected, combat operations resume, those human costs will climb. So too will gas prices and the prices of everything that depends upon oil. President Trump knows this, of course, but stated plainly, Operation Epic Fury had to be undertaken. The reason is quite simple. Iran intends to obtain nuclear weapons by any means possible, and their rulers are, quote, crazy. Does not the rise in gas prices destroy at least the argument that the civilians bear no cost of the war, at least when it comes to this, the Iran war? You may not like paying the sacrifice, but the cost of war is at least being felt beyond the military. Iran simply cannot have a nuclear weapon. This is an argument that the country should and will have. It is one that is long overdue. I'm Hugh Hewitt.
Wealth Health Radio. The biggest fears that people have is, do I have enough money to retire?
Retirement doesn't have to be complicated.
To make sure that you're going through retirement with confidence.
Learn principles of income planning.
There's a lot of different facets that you need to take into consideration when you're retiring.
Tune into Wealth Health Radio with Joe Murphy, noon to 1 p.m. Sundays on AM 560. The Answer.
Let Cole Digital turn your outdoor space into the ultimate entertainment setup. With a 75-inch SunBright outdoor TV that can stay out year-round and great sound throughout. Like planter speakers on the patio, high-quality rock speakers that blend right into your landscape, or bronze garden speakers that blend into the environment. Our technicians will dig a hole and install an in-ground subwoofer for incredible bass and the best in sound quality. We also install outdoor-rated access points for Wi-Fi coverage throughout your yard, and cameras that let you keep an eye on everything with motion-activated recording. Tour our Cole Digital Design Center, 15,000 square feet of audio, video, and great design ideas. Cole Digital is family-owned by conservatives that share your values, and we're based right in Frankfurt. Visit Cole Digital today and schedule your consultation. ColeDigital.com. That's K-O-L-E digital.com. Or call 815-469-2000, and we'll bring the showroom to you. 815-469-2000. Cole Digital, what smart living is all about.
Concerned about your retirement accounts or bank savings? Tired of stock market turbulence? Or simply curious about diversifying with precious metals? Tune into The Gold Show on AM 560, The Answer. Learn how gold and silver can help protect your financial future. Discover insights, strategies, and opportunities designed to help you make smarter decisions and guide you to more confident investing. Don't miss The Gold Show this Saturday morning at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
I, Ben Huth, being of mostly sound mind.
What you doing?
I hereby bequeath the Cara dining table from Penny Mustard to my great-great-great-grandchild.
Really?
Our fine, sophisticated furniture is made of solid wood and lasts for generations, so I'm making sure everything's covered.
Not a bad idea, really.
The Cara table's timeless design will never go out of style.
Hereto and henceforth, my future descendant agrees to the following. They will refer to the table as Grandpa's masterpiece. The table hosts at least one awkward family meal per calendar year, and a strict no crayon rule must be enforced.
That's a bit extreme.
This concludes my last will entablement. Amen.
The Cara dining table, paired with 4 Rubio chairs, starting at just $152 a month with no interest and no payments till May of 2029 through May 31st at Penny Mustard.
6 Chicagoland showrooms.
PennyMustard.com.
Generational versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
AM 560, The Answer.
You know, all of these changes in the universities, do you think that's organic, made of principle? Me either.
We estimate that over $100 billion in undocumented money has gone into the United States from the Muslim Brotherhood over the last 20 years. $1 billion. $10 billion to Cornell. $1.3 billion, for example, to Texas A&M, and we found at Texas A&M 504 research projects that was the intellectual property rights were given to the Qatari regime. We flagged 58 projects that have dual-use military implications and 13 nuclear research military implications.
Seems like a lot of money for 350,000 people. The entire country of Qatar, 350,000 people. You know why? Maybe it's not the people. Maybe it's just the Switzerland for the Islamo-Nazis, Squirrel. I'm starting to think that too.
And, I'm happy to say that one of the first investments our new fund made was putting Tucker Carlson in business with his new network.
Oh, that's Omed. You remember Omed?
Tucker Carlson's network, the seed money came from a guy named Omid Malik, who's a Pakistani Iranian. He's Pakistani Iranian descent, put up $15 million to start that network. We know that for a fact. It's public knowledge. There was a nonprofit here in the United States that receives its funding from Qatar that pays $180,000 a month, and they paid Tucker to interview the Emir, I believe it was, of.
It's so interesting when you really start to pick it apart. It's always about the money with these Washington whores.
The Muslim Brotherhood.
It's kind of a 100-year plan, and
Correct.
we're 50 years in.
Correct. Qatar is a country. It's a tiny country in the Middle East. It has less than 350,000 citizens.
Less than.
Tiny country.
Yeah.
Qatar is giving more money to British education, to Canadian education, higher education, to American universities than any country in the world. So why would this tiny, wealthy country give so much money to Western democratic universities?
Even more than Israel? What about AIPAC and FARA? Fracking morons. AIPAC, they're Americans.
Less than 2 weeks after our second report, Texas A&M decided to close their campus in Qatar, and we've been calling on the American government, on the Department of Energy, to investigate what's going on.
That's funny, huh, Squirrel? Yet all that banking for the Islamo-Nazis travels through one place.
And it's to use soft power to influence it. And the Qataris have a bay'ah. In Islam, a bay'ah is a spiritual oath to the Muslim Brotherhood. The royal family of Qatar follows all the religious edicts, rulings, and fatwas of the Muslim Brotherhood. They basically represent the Brotherhood around the world.
Yeah, I got your fatwa right here, Matt South Bend.
Shaun, I can't believe that Tucker just sold out, but you're right, man. He just he's like a combination between John Stossel and Mr. Haney, I think, the way he represented his voice.
That was excellent.
So
but John Stossel, I don't think would, I might be wrong, but I don't think would sell out as, the thing about Tucker, you go back to tell me who raised you, I'll tell you what you are. You could almost say his father was a scallywag too. So second generation, Voice of America. Selling all that propaganda. Yeah, it was the Vietnamese that blew the ship up. Sure it was, Matt. Thank you very much. How you like your new job?
Oh, it's rocking, man. I'm sitting right upstairs, working from home, buddy.
Good for you. Now listen, don't get used to having your pants off. Next thing you know, you're voting Democrat, okay? Thank you, Matt. Take care of yourself. Bessie, Grays Lake.
Trip down memory lane, Shaun. Tucker emailed, and it got in the email dump of Hunter. He emailed Hunter asking him to get his son into Georgetown University.
You're
which
right.
He did.
It was in the laptop.
Yes, and he worked for J.D. Vance. He went to work for J.D., who recently got fired.
You are right. Excellent, Bessie. Excellent. Another connection to the Democrats, as if you didn't have enough. I appreciate it. The only time he told the truth, Bessie, he probably did tell the truth from time to time. But what was very interesting is when he came out and talked about how many pedophiles he was friends with in Washington. Do you remember that? If you remember him talking about that Podesta freak show between that scarecrow John, that Don Knotts-looking freak from Chicago, and his fat-ass brother, the lobbyist. And I thought to myself, what kind of a man? I go to a dinner party. You don't want to invite me to a dinner party if you're a pedophile, because we won't get through dinner before I stab you with the fork in the throat. You know what I mean? So what do? You just tolerate it because they got money? This is the problem with people who are enamored by money. They'll tolerate anything. They'll tolerate anything and they'll do anything. I'd rather be poor with my own character than rich without it. Thank you very much, Bessie. Appreciate the call. Oh, I didn't mean to hang up. Adam, Lake Bluff.
Hey, Shaun, I got a new name for that Maine lobster mafioso that's running for the Senate.
Yeah, all right.
It's a little bit of play. You got to know a little bit of German. So, Hitler's born in Austria. in German, it's known as Österreich.
Yeah, sure.
So he's an oyster farmer. So he's an Oysterreich.
Oh, I like it a lot. I know all my my Austrian history from The Sound of Music. I still love that movie. You know what I mean? That's when women were women and men weren't afraid to sing.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the good old days. Thank you very much. The Maine Mafia. You got a guy who was a member of the Nazi. Well, then again, they're National Socialist Worker Parties, like every Democrat I ever met. We'll be back.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Everywhere you turn, it's plus, plus, plus. But at Hassel's Mattress, nobody has more plus than us. Our 35 beds from the top 5 brands start at $293. Plus, through Monday, get a free adjustable base. Plus, a huge selection of Beautyrest, Sealy Posturepedic, and other big-name brands. Plus, free next-day delivery and setup. Plus, employee-free showrooms. Whew! All these pluses have me feeling nonplussed. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasselist.com.
If you've saved $100,000 or more for retirement, call Steve Shyman today at 833-945-7283. That's 833-WILL-SAVE. 833-WILSAVE. Schedule your no-cost, no-obligation retirement review and make sure your plan is built to protect what you've worked so hard to earn. And don't forget to listen to Steve's show, Protecting Your Assets, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. right here on AM 560. Call now, 833-945-7283.
Town Hall News, where conservative voices cut through the noise from breaking headlines to fearless opinion. We report what matters without apology. Written by people who actually believe what you believe. Town Hall tells the stories the corporate press buries. From President Trump to Capitol Hill. From pivotal elections to your everyday lives. Join the movement at townhall.com. Real stories, real reporters, real conservative media.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
We are going to kick the global intifada's ass forever, as we always have. And you know why, Squirrel? Because we're simply better. We're better at everything. We don't walk around in costumes. My next guest knows this all too well. CEO of the David Horowitz Freedom Center. That'll make the Islamo-Nazis nervous. They don't even like that name. I love that name. I only like religions that don't want me in them. What do you think of that? Let alone want to conquer my own. Daniel Greenfield will join me to talk about a plethora of topics from Nancy Pelosi insider trading to Soros front groups, also a Nazi. That'll be after Mike Scott.
Thanks, Shaun. Clouds and sun with a high near 60 this afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. President Trump announced a major change to two Biden administration-era EPA rules for air conditioning refrigerants from the Oval Office. White House officials say it's related to a push to help lower costs for everyday Americans. Negotiations continue between the U.S. and Iran as the two countries try to come to terms on a peace deal. Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
The president's preference is to do a good deal. That's his preference. It's always been his preference. If we can get a good deal done, that would be great. But if we can't get a good deal, the president's been clear. He has other options.
3 died. Nearly 20 first responders remain quarantined after exposure to an unidentified substance at a New Mexico home. Hazmat teams are working to identify that substance. Former Golden State Warriors assistant and longtime NBA veteran Jerry Stackhouse is reportedly in consideration to become the next head coach of the Chicago Bulls. The news the service of Steiner Homes. Building homes is more than a business. It's a calling. Family-owned and dedicated to building custom homes with care, integrity, and craftsmanship you can trust. Visit SteinerHomesLTD.com. Steiner Homes, love where you live. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks reversing earlier losses and ending higher, with the Dow posting its 8th record close of the year on Iran deal hopes. Oil prices retreated, easing inflation worries, with West Texas Intermediate crude settling at over $96 a barrel. Chip makers gained for a second day on AI optimism. However, shares of AI darling Nvidia fell over 1.5% as its robust earnings report, along with a strong forecast and share buyback, failed to spark a rally. The Dow up 276 points, the Nasdaq higher by 23, S&P 500 up 13. And quantum computing stocks surged, with IBM leading the charge after the Commerce Department confirmed plans to award funding to nearly a dozen companies to foster the development of the domestic quantum industry. Shares of IBM surged 12%. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 30% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com, 800-LifeLock, 1-800-LifeLock, or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
I'd like to tell you about a man named Phineas who as a child survived the Holocaust. Phineas survived because Christians hid him from the Nazis, risking everything to save his life. Today, Phineas is in his 80s. He can no longer stand on his own or even leave his home to receive medical care. And when sirens sound and missiles fall, he doesn't have the time or the strength to reach safety. But once again, Christians are helping to save his life. Through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, a mobile clinic brings doctors and medicine right to Phineas's doorstep, providing care that he otherwise would not receive, especially during a time of war. Phineas said, "Christians saved my life during the Holocaust, and now again, they are helping me." As Israel's Holocaust Remembrance Day approaches, remember these precious children of God by lifting them up in prayer, asking for his protection, his comfort, and his peace. Stand with Israel in prayer by visiting supportifcj.org. That's supportifcj.org.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer. From the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Outbound Kennedy, you're looking at 1 hour out to O'Hare from downtown. Outbound Edens is okay. The express lanes on the Kennedy are snug from Ohio to Montrose. Eisenhower, crash at Austin on the shoulder, hour and 10 out to 390. Stevenson, 55 minutes to Saba Lakeshore Drive to 355. Outbound Ryan 35, it's tight in the express lanes, 35th to Marquette. Ford sluggish on the outbound trip, 115th down to 159th. That is due to ongoing construction. There's an accident reported on Saba Lakeshore Drive southbound at Balbo, but there are tie-ups in both directions. Tri-State also busy north and southbound 355 heavy as well. This report is the service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be cloudy with a low of 50. On Friday, expect mostly cloudy skies with breezy conditions and a high of 67. Friday night will bring cloudy skies with a couple of showers and a low of 55. Saturday will start with a passing morning shower, then remain mostly cloudy throughout the day with a high of 66. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all else. I love property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, I'll read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wait.
So, my next guest, as I was walking by, because I'm in Illinois stand, was walking by, the room is different than the studio. And my lovely honey bunny was talking to our next guest, and she said, Daniel, he's very excited to talk to you. And I am. And I'm always excited to talk to our next guest. And I'll tell you why. I've never met him. I don't know him. We do not share the same background, the same religion. But you know why I'm always excited to talk to him? He is a warrior for the same reasons I think I fight. He believes in freedom. He believes in Americanism, in Western civilization. He believes in liberty. And he spends every hour of every day working to secure it. CEO of the David Horowitz Freedom Center, author of Domestic Enemies, and continuing to write constantly, which you should put it into your phone immediately, frontpagemag.com. Daniel Greenfield, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you. That is really high praise indeed.
Well, it's the truth. And, you know, it's a fascinating and a beautiful time to be an American. For 50 years, we have always had the same annoyance, the same quiet, cold war with the Islamo-Nazi, the same scallywags in the White House. This is the first time they're on their ass in Iran. This is the first time they're nervous, no matter where they are. And we have the benefit of your Front Page Mag, of all of the options with the internet to out the fact that Qatar gives 300% of the money AIPAC has ever given. And the information is for anybody who wants to look it up. And all the allegations of our ally Israel being the bad guy, it's for everyone to see that that is exactly the opposite of the truth.
Absolutely right. This is the first time really in my life, and I've only been around for so long, that I can see the left actually being afraid. I can see the people, the Marxists, the communists, the Islamists, who are laying siege to our country, actually, for the first time, coming face to face with somebody like President Trump, who's pushing back against them, against a new generation of conservatives, that is not just accepting the same lie, the same intimidation, and the same propaganda campaign. They're doubling down, they're tripling down, they're lying even harder, and nobody's believing them anymore.
No, and here's the other issue when it comes to this Iranian issue with the theocracy that poses as a country. At least now there's something done about it. He has taken out, we don't even really have a count on how many IRGC or the head of the Ayatollah Assad. We don't know how deep they are. However, what we do know is it's the first time in 50 years, at least we're not against the ropes, always being told promises and bribing the very people that promise to destroy us. I love where we are. And when you're going through your writings, I also love the fact that now the lie of Israel and AIPAC, I just had a conversation in a cigar store, and the guy doesn't agree with me, and he kept saying, you know, AIPAC should be a FARA. Why? They're not foreign. Of course they don't need to be FARA. They're Americans. It's an American pack, and they're bound by the same rules and regulations that FARA is, if not more so. And it was only through that I went to FARA, and I started to look up exactly what Qatar gives. Qatar gives 300% 300 times the money Israel gives. Qatar has less than 350,000 people. Why would they do that? Why would they give that kind of money? It doesn't make any sense. And when you look at AIPAC and all the accusations, well, AIPAC is under the Lobbying Disclosure Act. They disclose every dollar. They have a third the amount of lobbyists as Qatar. They have a third the amount of lobbyists as Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia gives 400% the money. So the truth is there on our phones. This is the best time to prove everybody wrong.
It's absolutely true. You know, remember the time when Obama was sending all these pallets of cash over to Iran, and then the Biden administration was sending billions of dollars to Afghanistan? They were not doing that for AIPAC. Now, I was actually in D.C. last week. I was in Congress, not on a foreign policy, not anything that Israel is Middle East related, but I was seeing some members of Congress. And, you know, there are people there. So Congress is in session, and there are various groups there. There's a cattle association. And I saw some Jewish groups that were actually there. They weren't with AIPAC. They were also meeting with members of Congress and talking about Israel. The mysterious thing is I was seeing no Muslim people there. None of those people were going up and down the aisles and trying to talk to members of Congress, because what they do is, as you've said, with Qatar, they do it behind the scenes. They move money around. It's not community members meeting with members of Congress. It's foreign interests that are meeting with members of Congress.
And the fascinating thing, most people don't remember, but luckily for us, we remember, during the time of the scandal that was the Iranian nuclear agreement, it was a treaty as it was formally told to us. And then all of a sudden the outrage came from the non-democrat, the non-American moron. The president can't unilaterally sign treaties. Then all of a sudden it became a deal. Then it was the Iranian deal. It went from a treaty to a deal. And then when he said the excuse of why he gave them money, do you know something, Daniel? This must be from growing up around card players. There's always a tell when someone is lying or posing as if they have a stronger hand. He said he gave them the money back from the Shaw order for airplanes to Jimmy Carter. And then, well, wait a minute. Even if you say that that's right, why would you give that money back, number one? Number two, they only gave $380 million. He said, well, I gave them interest, and he gave them compound interest into the tune of $2 billion, $2,000 million. Now, I don't know much about other religions, but I know enough to be curious. So I've read some of their book, some of their story that they tell. One thing that has been a solid in all of their stories in all of their countries, all of the countries led by Islamo-Nazis, they do not, it is forbidden to have loans with interest. It's not that they don't like it. We prefer not to have it. It's forbidden. So Barack Obama made an excuse up to give $2,000 million to the most dangerous country to America, Western civilization on the planet. And for that alone, I think he's a traitor, among other things.
That's a very good point. It was an absolute lie. And I have to ask, what's the compound interest in the murder of over 1,000 Americans? What's the compound interest on torturing and kidnapping and brutally killing people like Colonel Buckley, the TWA hijacking that happened in broad daylight? What's the compound interest on that, the world?
Daniel, they forget. I watched my family members who were in the Marine Corps when they killed the Marines in 83, when they killed the Marines again in 96. Are you out of your mind? I'm going to tell you something. You know, when you pay attention to this whole nonsense of a intifada, global intifada, there is one way to peace, and that's a Carthaginian peace, and that's it. Now, maybe it's because I'm half Italian, but it's the only way to get along. Until you stop threatening me, until you stop promoting that you're going to kill anybody that doesn't agree with you, I'm going to be the one last standing. I really feel that way right now.
That's the only way it is. You know, terrorists only understand one language. That's why they're terrorists. They're not terrorists because they want to negotiate. They're not terrorists because they want to know how we can work out a deal. They're terrorists because they believe in terror. It's the only language they understand.
Now, this leads me to the other beautiful reason we're here. It's the first time since George Washington we've ever had a president who wasn't cultivated in this fraud that is our phony republic, where you have to sell yourself to be a senator. You have to sell yourself triple to be a congressman. You have to tell a lot of nonsense and stand for nothing. I don't like some of the things Donald Trump has done, specifically the cozying up to the Qatar and the plane and all the rest. I don't like it. I don't like the agreement with the golf course and all that. But what I love is the fact that even when I disagree with him, he's always putting the American interest and safety first. He is the first one to not just give me lip service on a campaign trail, but to tell me I'm going to wipe them out and wipe them out. And on top of it, export all of the relatives that have been living not just high on the hog, but the lives of Riley and multimillionaires driving around in G-Wagons, posing in bikinis when she would have got her head chopped off. The niece of the colonel or the general, whatever the hell they call themselves. I mean, it's great to see him understand the problem, protect the good Iranians that ran from that to hide here. And how dare you make them nervous by letting the relatives of the totalitarian theocrats live next door to him? That alone is crazy.
It's insane. You go to Manhattan, you go to Beverly Hills, and every single enemy of our country is there. The Chinese dictators, the Russians, the Qataris, every single enemy of the United States has sent their kids, all their family members to live here. And they are living here in the best possible way. They're in the biggest penthouses, in the biggest mansions. They do whatever they want. They commit assaults. They get away with it. We've seen this again and again.
What else was fascinating is I love the gift Trump has that he doesn't know he has. And that is that people hate him so much they out their own weakness, their own treason, their own agenda. And I'm speaking now specifically of Tom Massey for just a minute. And I'm curious to know your thoughts on this. We are all repulsed by Nancy Pelosi trading $400 million, $500 million in insider trading. But one thing I'll say about Nancy Pelosi, she did it over 40 years. Ro Khanna, in 7 years, insider traded, by his own disclosures, $170 million. In fact, he has traded every day, 7 times a day, of every trading day open during his time as a congressman, and he has never had a loser. In fact, every trade results in $16,500 average of profitability. So when you look at who Ro Khanna is, he makes Nancy Pelosi look somewhat honest. And you look at the committees he's on. When I saw Tom Massey and him to pair up to go after Trump, that explains how Tom Massey had $10 million, because I thought libertarians don't sell out to PACs and sell out to different things. But to watch the people that join to attack Trump really reveals their character more than it does Trump's, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, some libertarians clearly think that selling out is part of the free market, and how dare you stop them from selling out. My favorite Khanna story is that he actually put out a congressional bill to ban congressional stock trading, and he was engaging in congressional stock trading while he was putting this bill out. The level of hypocrisy and corruption is just out of sight.
It's insane. It's insane. And it goes to show you, it's like in the illusion of what our republic is supposed to be. This is what everything happens in Illinois, everything that happens in Chicago. Nothing happens that isn't known to happen for months before they call a vote, months before they shelf a vote. And I'm wondering, when you see the kind of chaos that's happening in Democrat areas, they were able to hide under cover as, we're just Democrats, we have bad policies. But when you look at New York, you look at Mondamne, you look at the rezoning, the plan for Muslim areas in the area. He's another one who's a great asset to the Islamo-Nazi global intifada. Just this time it's the Big Apple.
Yeah, it's really curious because he announced this big rezoning plan for an area that has a large Muslim population, which means these guys, the people who donate to him, who backed him, who funded him, are suddenly looking at the price of the value of their real estate going up 10 times, which is a pretty damn good investment.
Yeah, that's Illinois Republican. That's how Denny Hassert made his money. He knew exactly where to buy the real estate, then create the policy to drive up the value. It's a fascinating thing to watch. And what else is interesting to me, and I'm curious to know your take on it. You've been around a long time with these lawsuits, a long time with watching the weaponization and lawfare, as it's often called. I love the idea that the government settled Trump's $10 billion case. Now, there's some pushback on how he's going to do the fund. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't lawsuits... I have a friend of mine, a guy who has the morning show here. He was in a lawsuit for 10 years it represented the governor, kind of Illinois. They stretched it out. They made sure he was 10 years in a lawsuit. Trump's $10 billion lawsuit was settled in less than a year. So for the government to settle it and for the terms to be set up the way they are, How are you interpreting that? Because I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on it.
The nerve of the Democrats to oppose this is just out of sight. They created this whole system of persecution of President Trump, of Republicans, conservatives, of my organization, by the way, which faced a 6-year investigation for writing negatively about Hillary Clinton. We had to go through a 6-year IRS torture session. We spent a whole lot of money doing this. And the Democrats have engaged in settlements with their own political interests over and over again. These are the same people in New York who did a settlement with BLM for the riots, and they paid the BLM rioters millions of dollars. They did this in a number of cities. Every time you have a number of these Democrat interests, they sue, they get these massive payouts from the government, from the very people they elected. Over and over again, they invested in those same politicians, and they have the nerve to protest this.
I felt he was too magnanimous with setting it up the way he did. I thought he was too magnanimous with the settlement price. I think he should have pushed it to the limit because that was the most obvious example of lawfare ever used. And when you look at what happened to Mike Lindell, when you look at what happened to Giuliani, when you look at what happened to Sidney Powell, all who have been proven exactly correct, all the allegations they made, all the phony ballots, I wouldn't have settled anything. I would have went to the finish line. I think he would have won at least the $10 billion.
People have had their lives absolutely destroyed, and just even a payout is not fixing it. I mean, you've wasted 6, 7, 8, 10 years of your life in federal litigation. You've had your life turned upside down. You haven't been able to move on with it. You're not getting that time back.
No. And that's the saddest part, right? We all suffered. The entire country, 370 million people. Now, this benefited the scallywags, as political corruption always does. However, none of us will be able to get one day of that time back. I don't think there is a monetary settlement that can be enough, especially when you look at who they went after, why they went after them, and the people who just demanded and wanted an audit. And that J6 committee, I'm going to tell you something, Daniel. I wonder if the people who are running the country understand the angst that the citizens have. I want to see these people who were on that fraud committee, who railroaded decent people, old people, construction workers, guys who were never political, some guys who even worked for the government and were honest their whole life. And you stuck them in a cell and you didn't give them their rights that were coming to them to talk to their lawyers. Some of them you kept in solitary confinement. I want people to go to jail.
I mean, we have judges like Judge Boasberg in D.C. who signed off wiretapping, spying on members of Congress, on a United States senator in pursuit of this. I mean, this is Watergate stuff, and these people are still there. They're still in the government. They're still sitting on the bench. None of them, not one single one of them, has actually gone to prison. They've gotten positions teaching at Georgetown.
Thank God we're old. You know why? Because a couple of guys who are a little politically wise can look at that and say, wait a minute, his daughter works for Kamala Harris, and now you know he's nothing more than a two-bit crooked Democrat. This is why frontpagemag.com is where I go to, and I love the books. The articles, I could go through them forever. Everybody should read everything. What do you have coming out? Anything very, very interesting that is going to be an upender to people's opinion? Are you going to go after these people who spread the frauds of Israel? What else you got coming in the pipeline?
The reason I was just actually over in Congress is we're launching the Judicial Accountability Project. We've assembled a dossier of judicial abuses. We've actually developed a roadmap for how Congress can hold them accountable. We briefed about 24 members of Congress on it. There was interest in it, and we're trying to rally support in the media to try and make it happen. Because actually, people think it's impossible, it's not doable. You have to go through this whole impeachment process with the full Senate trial. You actually do not. Judges can be called in by House Judiciary, by the Senate Judiciary. They can actually be put through a process that is far short of a full Senate impeachment trial, and they can be held accountable. Congress has just not been doing it, and it's time for them to do it.
Chuck Schumer on the Sunday show when he guaranteed obstructionists because of the 235 judges that were illegitimately put in positions of power from the Biden administration. This is why it's crucially important to never give up the fact that Joe Biden stole the election, and everything he did after that, to me, is null and void. I love the fact that you keep the pressure on, Daniel. I really do. And I cannot thank you and everybody at the David Horowitz Freedom Center, but most importantly, Front Page Mag, where you keep us posted very often. Thank you so much for always making time for me.
My pleasure. Thank you for the fight.
Thank you. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual liberty. And because of that, he's become an enemy of the state. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is The Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 30% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com, 800-LifeLock, 1-800-LifeLock, or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Whether you are old or young, no one likes to lose money. The market is at an all-time high. How much risk does your portfolio really have in it? Are you worried that you could lose your hard-earned money? Call TJ Stearns in Arlington Heights at 800-640-2256 for your free risk report. Call right now and we will include a full analysis of your portfolio. Don't wait until it's too late. Call TJ Stearns, a local and longtime sponsor on AM 560. Call 800-640-2256. Call now and tell him AM 560 sent you.
You know, protecting your home should not be a headache. Many security companies, they lock you into these multi-year contracts. No, Simply Safe Home Security, they do things differently. With Simply Safe, you get award-winning 24/7 professional monitoring around $1 a day without any long-term commitment. Simply Safe, they just want to earn your trust every day by doing a great job. Right now, you'll get 50% off your custom system by going to simplysafe.com/Hannity. Half off when you go to simplysafe.com/Hannity. And remember, there's no safe like Simply Safe.
Good evening, Shaun, in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Expect clouds tonight with a low of 51. President Trump rolling back Biden-era EPA rules in an effort to lower grocery prices, making more refrigerants that are used in freezers, refrigerators, and home air conditioning units available for more everyday Americans.
The higher cost threatened thousands of jobs and was passed on in the form of higher prices and higher taxes.
While federal prosecutors sought 50 years behind bars, a Minnesota judge gave the central figure in the $300 million Feeding Our Future meal fraud case just over 40 years in prison today. Amy Bach was the former executive director of that nonprofit. An arson investigation continues after 4 were killed, including 2 foster children, in a West Englewood fire yesterday. Cubs and Sox are off tonight. The news, a service of Steiner Homes. Building homes is more than a business. It's a calling. Family-owned, dedicated to building custom homes with care, integrity, and craftsmanship you can trust. Visit SteinerHomesLTD.com. Steiner Homes, Northwest Indiana's leading home builder. Your next news update is at 6. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. Up next, in the AM 560 Traffic Center, here is Jill Urchek.
Watch out for an accident eastbound on the Reagan at Raymond Drive. That's in the 2 left lanes, stop and go from Route 59. There are delays either way along the Reagan as well as 355, and the Tri-State slowing down in both directions as well. In fact, we're seeing some tie-ups now forming along the Jane Addams. On the outbound Eden, you're okay. Inbound heavy at 50 minutes. The Kennedy out 1 hour downtown to O'Hare. Eisenhower crash at Mannheim in the 2 left lanes. That is outbound an hour and 15 post office to 390. 55 minutes, Stevenson to Saba Lakeshore Drive to the Veterans Memorial Tollway, and a half hour on the outbound side of the Dan Ryan. This report is a service of the AM 560 Advantage. Membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets, exclusive contest opportunities, and special members-only content. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect cloudy skies with a low of 50. Moving into Friday, it'll be mostly cloudy and breezy with a high of 67. Friday night will bring cloudy conditions with a couple of showers and a low of 55. As we head into Saturday, anticipate a passing morning shower followed by thick cloud cover and a high of 66. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver from New Nordic. Search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon, CVS, Wegmans, or GNC.
Hey, this is Shaun Thompson. You know, most of us spend our entire lives in the paycheck mode. You work, you get 30% taken from the G, you pay your bills, repeat, and rinse. And that's how time goes by. Then all of a sudden you're old. Retirement hits. Suddenly, you're the one who has to figure out your paycheck that isn't there anymore. Markets are bumpy, prices are up, things can get stressful real fast. That's why having a real income plan matters. Tom Fortino and the team at Alpha Wealth Group can help you build a strategy to turn your hard-earned savings into a reliable retirement income. They coordinate with your Social Security and your tax planning so you can stop wondering if you're withdrawing the right amount at the right time. Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group have been doing this for 30 years. They can help you by giving you a complimentary retirement roadmap. And all you have to do is call 630-864-6711. That's 630-864-6711 or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
When I was feeling the stress of too much credit card debt, I looked at two different options: debt settlement and debt management. They may sound the same, but guess what? They're not. Debt settlement seemed like a quick fix, but I found out it would destroy my credit, create tax headaches, and hit me with huge fees. They actually told me to stop paying my bills. No way, not me. Then I turned to a debt management plan developed by the team at Trinity. They worked with my creditors, lowered my payments, reduced my interest, saved me thousands, and paid off my debt. And Trinity is a Christian company, which is important to me.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-990-6976.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Got a large collection? We'll make it fit in your wallet. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
The key to destroying anything is to always pick your opponent. Illinois has been doing that for years. That's why the Illinois suck-on Republican insists on going along to get along. That's why the upper echelon of the Illinois Republican Party, they own the video poker machine rooms. They own the marijuana dispensers. That's why they give nothing but lip service. And if they've ever been in charge, then they pull a Lee Daniels. They consolidate power so the next time the short in the pants Mike Madigan takes over. And it's funny when it comes to the governor's race. Every time people get optimistic, I used to. And I remember with that 7 foot of stupid never bought his nonsense. And do you know why, Squirrel? You never trust a billionaire with an ugly wife. Never! There's no point to having $1 billion. You got an ugly wife. Especially one who's a lifelong Democrat. A pro-baby murdering lifelong Democrat. Those are the Rounders. So when Jeannie Ives challenged him, I was very optimistic. I thought, there's not that many morons in Illinois. But there were. And then you realize it only took a couple of Democrat mafia counties to destroy the whole state. There's only one answer. And it certainly isn't Gomer Pyle, who got kicked in the head by Mr. Ed.
I'm excited to announce that our campaign is releasing the Blueprint for Illinois. It's a serious policy plan, a roadmap for how state government should work for the people again.
What, did you hide it under your plate all these years? It's a new day, and Darren has a plan, stupid moron. So what do? You get the hell out of here. That's my next guest. I love the way she thinks. Are we united by principles or extorted by taxation and regulation? G.H. Merritt is the co-founder and chairman of the board of New Illinois. It's like the old one, only a lot less morons and no Democrats. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I love what you represent, and what you represent is something that gets no play really outside of this fantastic radio station. And what that is the whole country is based on either we are united by principles and we will represent the republic, or we will extort the decent in the name of the indecent. So how many counties is it in Illinois that have voted for secession, which is the only answer when a government turns completely corrupted?
Well, I have to first explain something. There are two state-split organizations in Illinois. One is New Illinois, and we're not the ones that are doing the referendum. We operate through county committees, and we, as of now, have county committees in 48 of Illinois' 102 counties. And the other organization is called Illinois Separation Referendum. And we both have the same end goal of a new state separated from old Illinois, but we just have different activities. And so they're the ones that have been putting an advisory referendum on countywide ballots. They've started doing that in 2020. As of 2024, 33 counties had passed the referendum, all of them by a landslide, averaging 74%. Now, this coming November, it looks like it could be on as many as 20 other county ballots.
That's fantastic.
Then we're talking about more than half the counties of Illinois saying they're done.
Which is absolutely fantastic, especially because it shows, too, the disgust with the idea that this moron Bailey can walk in, avoid any debates, participate in no real activity, and because he had money left over, which, by the way, I got an argument 100 times with my buddy, how could you back this buffoon when the answer was the exact opposite in Rabine? Now the answer was the exact opposite in Ted. And now here he is because he had a big donor at one time and he kept all the money. So, I mean, to me, that's the cherry on the insult sundae to the decent Illinois. What are you seeing now with your movement? Are you seeing the same kind of success? Because when you talk about it on your level, you're kind of close to Crooked County. The punchline, not just in this country, but across the world, as everyone knows, Cook County is a mafia-run county.
Oh, yeah, I would have to agree with that. Are you talking about where I am? I'm up in Lake County.
Right. No, but you have this meeting happening, and I'm curious to know what you're seeing among your movement.
Oh, it's in Barrington. Well, we have county committees in each of the collar counties. There, you drive through the collar counties, and it's not all densely populated urban area. You've got a lot of farms out there. You've got a lot, and I think, Shaun, one big issue, we know how horribly gerrymandered Illinois is. Everybody's looked at that congressional map with the lightning bolt cutting across it. But the most gerrymandered area is the collar counties. As your colleague Dan Croft once said, probably back in 2010, was that it's like a bowl of spaghetti. Chicago's the bowl, and all of the districts are coming out like strands of spaghetti.
Yes.
And so, you end up with, the change that has occurred in the collar counties. A lot of people, of course, have moved. A lot of people have escaped the city and gone to the collar counties, but it's all turning blue. But I don't really think. I think it's probably because of gerrymandering.
Well, it's very interesting because Jeannie Ives has a big lawsuit pending.
Yeah.
And Jeannie Ives is taking on this suit, and it should hopefully win. But I don't know what the time frame is between a win and how much it's going to impact. Now, the collar counties are DuPage, Kane, Lake, McHenry, and Will. And DuPage is going to be the one that I think is really going to kick in the derriere along with Lake. I don't think the others would put up too much of a fight to get rid of the mafia control, but I don't know that much about it. It's been 6 years now since I left, and things have changed drastically in 6 years. But I'm curious to know what you see, and I say this because it pains me. I mean, I grew up in Cook County, which was a neighborhood of blue collar, but they knew there was a scandal and a scam, but they didn't let it tolerate their community, our little community. I'm wondering, can you still have that kind of community where you're decent even though you're technically part of a crooked Cook County? Can you still have that in what you're seeing, or is it all Cook County now?
Well, as I look at, I'm up in Lake County, and I think that there's areas in Lake County that would not be interested in being part of New Illinois. They would very much identify with Chicago. There's also townships along the edge of Cook County. They had a referendum about 10 years ago that they wanted to leave Cook County. And so I think that what's going to happen as, say, Illinois separation referendum works its way up the state, in this area, they'll have a referendum, but it'll be by township. And we'll find out who wants to go where. And, there's a lot of good people that live in Cook County. My daughter lives in Chicago. My brother lives in Chicago. I have a sister that lives in Chicago. But I don't even like to go there anymore.
Well, I mean, first of all, I've got the stories. I'm constantly monitoring CWB, among many others. And when you look at how dangerous Chicago is for Americans, it's 100 times more dangerous than Iran is for Americans. Really is.
Yeah.
It really is. When you look at the fact they just busted a kidnapping ring in the West Loop, preying on suburban kids going down there on Friday and Saturday night. Kidnapping. Like Guadalajara. I've got a story on the board. They just beat some young policeman who was writing a ticket because he was a policeman. They knocked his teeth out with brass knuckles. I mean, what you're looking at is ghetto living. The problem with it is people become used to it, and you can always adapt lower far greater than you can adapt to a higher standard of character, of living. And ultimately, what happens in Illinois is it's so mafia-controlled from Springfield, from the short-in-the-pants Irish mafia that started with Daley and now is represented by this Proviso Maywood scallywag scoundrel Welch, is that it nullifies the decent people in the state. And even if they vote, like we were talking about the other movement, which is a staggering reality in the year 2026, 33 counties vote to secede. Even if your town approach, your movement this way, through the way in which you're going, it doesn't mean anything unless somebody in the federal government recognizes it, because Indiana recognized the previous movement, and they said, we'll take them. And it doesn't mean anything. When you have the kind of power that can get a tax cheat fraud like Pritzker over the line over and over again, and then the opposition is this imbecile who's the same thing, only a little lighter version of it. He inherited the farm, the PPP money. Darren Bailey's the same thing. I mean, I see it as hopeless, but I love the movements that are starting, because maybe if it gets the attention of the federal government, there may be some help.
Well, it already has gotten the attention of the federal government. New California, they started a couple years before we do, and they are in contact with the White House regularly. And I've also been contacted by the guy that runs the Greater Idaho movement. And what he wants to do is gather all the movements from the different states that are trying to do what we're doing and put out a joint statement to get more attention from the federal government. Because our state is violating the U.S. Constitution because the guarantee clause says that we're supposed to have a Republican form of government, which means meaningful representative government, and we don't have that. We've had that stolen from us. And there is a longing, as I talk to people around the state, there is such a longing to be free from this.
Of course.
And so I certainly have hope. I draw a lot of inspiration from the Solidarity movement in Poland. You had a dude that was an electrician in the shipyard, and one day he just decides, I'm not digging being in a communist country anymore. And so this caught the imagination of the people, and it was overwhelming support, so that in the course of, I think, about 8 or 9 years, they were able to get their country back. And so we have hope. And so, we're going to be in Barrington on Saturday. And one of the things that I think a lot of suburban areas that it's kind of getting their attention is that Governor Pritzker and Chicago legislators, they're trying to do things to supersede the zoning in everywhere, not just. And so, you can see why, having granny flats in Chicago might be a good idea, because they have a housing shortage but
they're trying to
not
nullify property.
Barrington.
Well, they're trying to nullify property rights, right? They're trying to nullify the peace and the tranquility to export ghetto snipe, ghetto scum, ghetto Democrats.
And here's the thing: his build plan, where they're trying to say any lot that's zoned single family, you can put like 8 units on it. That might be reasonable for Chicago, but not for where I live in a township that's got 30% forest preserves. And so where was I going?
Well, they're trying to nullify so they can congest and they can build multi-family tenement scum and destroy the areas the way they've already destroyed Chicago, because that system unfortunately works.
And one of the point I was going to make is that he says it's to cut the red tape. But the fact is, Illinois has the 6th largest unauthorized population of all the states. We've got between 500 and 550,000 illegal migrants in Illinois. If you didn't have that, you wouldn't have a housing shortage.
Well, the other thing, too, is that when you go into the idea of purchasing real estate, there is a covenant that is afoot between the municipality you purchase the real estate in and the buyer. And that covenant is very simple. You buy in these areas because you like the restrictions on congestion. You like the restrict. You don't buy in there because you plan on changing it. So if I buy in Inverness, I don't know what the specificity of it, but I like the idea that I can only be on an acre lot. I don't want to look at some scumbag. That's why I bought an Inverness. That's why I pay the extra taxes. And the idea that this pig from Chicago, whose family doesn't live in Illinois, who has mansions because he doesn't want people next to him, and has his wife rip out the toilets because she's the only one that could do a push-up, and he's going to somehow nullify the reason I bought the law. I'm suing somebody. I don't care if you sue Springfield, you sue Pritzker, you sue your municipality, but you can't break the covenant, especially when you're talking about a county that has the most vacant property that it's ever had, that gives away tax auction property because nobody even buys the tax auction, that has the most vacancies in any area, and you're pretending you need land? You don't need land. You're just exporting the very problem that you use to steal other people's money. That's all this is.
Oh, and here's another thing. The People Over Parking Act that passed last year, it goes into effect in 10 days. And again, where I live, it's 30% forest preserves. I moved there. We built our house there because, like you, we wanted a certain amount of space. We didn't want to be in a congested area. And so that, I think, would apply to my neighborhood because we are a half a mile from a train station. But it's considered not a walkable neighborhood. You need a car to get everywhere. And if they limited the parking spaces in our neighborhood, you also aren't allowed to park overnight on the side of the road. So
refresh everybody what this parking rule is. The idea that it would affect somebody in Barrington shows you how insane and how stupid the Democrats are.
Well, it says that if you either live within a half a mile of a train station or a bus station, or an eighth of a mile from a street that has bus service, you would have a limitation on how many parking spaces you can have. And so
can you believe this? Can you? I'll have as many parking spaces as I want, and I'll never take public transportation because then I run into your moron scum Democrats, and you stink. You all piss your pants, and you're good for nothing. You want me to craft that rebuttal for you?
Yeah, why don't you tell us what you really think?
I can't stand these scum. I really can't. And the idea you nullify the principles of my country because you want me to adapt to the low living that destroyed my once great city, chases businesses out, and normalizes welfare and communism, and the idea that this government can seize your property when this tax cheat fat slob frauded his own city, his own county, his own state, and somehow won the election, goes to show you're surrounded by fracking morons, which is why I've never felt better about leaving.
When you put $50 million or more of your own money into your election, that's problematic because it becomes a situation where nobody can really compete with you. And so that shouldn't be permitted. And I can tell you that when New Illinois is a state, it won't be.
So it's at Barrington. Now, in my neighborhood, it's called the Library. Where exactly is the Library in Barrington?
The library, yes, I wrote it down here. The address is Barrington Area Library, 505 North, Northwest Highway. And so admission is free. And by the way, I should mention that we are not endorsed by the library. They just offer the rooms as a community service.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, in case anybody asks, just have your husband put on one of your dresses. Tell him it's a transvestite show. They'll love you. All right?
I don't think my husband would ever go along with that.
No, come on. The old lady starts barking. He doesn't want to afford a divorce. Believe me, the older you get, the more power you have. Remember that. All right?
Okay.
Thank you so much for making time for me. She is G.H. Merritt. The name of the organization is newillinoisstate.org. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Very good. You see, you didn't think I could read, but I pulled it off. I went to the library all the time. Now, have a great time.
Thanks so much, Shaun.
Thank you for making time. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
It's almost time once again for the annual AM 560 Golf Outing, presented by Signature Bank. AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation to help them support America's first responder and military heroes, to help America never forget 9/11. This year, our golf outing is happening on Monday, June 15th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. When you purchase a foursome to join us, you'll enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. And if you're a business owner, when you purchase a foursome, you'll also receive an AM 560 marketing campaign, which includes 25 one-minute commercials to air on AM 560 Monday through Friday between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. and a free digital marketing analysis. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. That's 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Nolan Webster and by real estate broker Ed Dream at leavingil.com.
Hi, I'm Randy Donnelly from Donnelly Auctions in Union, Illinois. I want to talk to you about items that you are considering selling. You already know that Donnelly Auctions specializes in things like guns and military, automobiles and motorcycles, and Petroliana. But I want to help you sell what you have collected. We have sold collections of police and fire badges, coin collections, and we've set a world record price for our last license plate auction. I may not be a magician, but I can make your collection disappear and reappear as money in your wallet. Donnelly Auctions is a worldwide marketplace with warehouses of collectibles. If you're selling, we can get you top dollar. If you're a buyer, you can find collectibles that you just can't find anywhere else. Monthly auctions you can view and bid online as well. Contact me at 815-923-7000 or through our website at DonnellyAuctions.com for a free, no-obligation consultation. I'm Randy Donnelly, and I'll see you at the auction.
If you've saved $100,000 or more for retirement, call Steve Shyman today at 833-945-7283. That's 833-WILL-SAVE, 833-WILL-SAVE. Schedule your no-cost, no-obligation retirement review and make sure your plan is built to protect what you've worked so hard to earn. And don't forget to listen to Steve's show, Protecting Your Assets, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. right here on AM 560. Call now, 833-945-7283.
If you're over 65 and struggling with knee pain, Joint Relief Institute offers a guaranteed way to treat it. It's non-surgical and often covered by Medicare and private insurance. It's JRI's Joint Arthritis Treatment, knee lubrication placement that's so accurate, it's 100% guaranteed and can relieve your knee and shoulder pain in 10 minutes or less. Book your risk-free consultation today and get back to walking, golfing, pickleball to cycling without pain or medication. Call 708-315-6800. Meet the provider, get an x-ray and joint consultation. Why wait? JRI has treated over 30,000 Chicagoans and performed over 400,000 procedures. You could be next. Over 5,000 five-star Google reviews can't be wrong.
Stop living in pain. Call the Joint Relief Institute today, 708-315-6800, or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oakbrook, and Orland Park. That's 708-315-6800 for the Joint Relief Institute. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted.
Everywhere you turn, it's plus, plus, plus. Retail chains, streamers, even our phones come with plus. And to think it all started with Hassellus Mattress, because nobody has more plus than us. Right now at Hassellus, get a Queen Beauty Sleep by Beautyrest Elm Cove A mattress. Others sell it for $1,459, but Hassellus has it for just $794. Plus, through Monday, you'll also get a free adjustable base. Plus, a huge selection of Beautyrest, Sealy Posturepedic, and other big name brands. Plus, free financing. Plus, free next day delivery and setup. Plus, free haul away and disposal of your old mattress. Plus, employee-free showrooms. Get all this, plus a whole lot more when you shop at Hassellus Mattress. Woo! All these pluses have me feeling nonplussed. Save big on Sealy Posturepedic, Beautyrest, and more every day from 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at Hassellus.com.
The following advertisement includes a celebrity impersonation.
The summer heat in Chicagoland is no joke. And if your old air conditioner is making funny noises, you may already know it's time for a new unit.
Look, your air conditioner, it's a disaster. People are telling me it's the worst ever.
Don't sweat it, literally. When it comes to cooling your home, Air Right Heating and Cooling does it the best.
And they love our country. Beautiful people.
Rebates are still available, financing is flexible, and at Air Right installations are smooth and professional with no surprises.
It's beautiful. Some people say it's the coolest air anyone's ever felt. I don't know. That's just what they're saying. It's doing an incredible job, really tremendous.
Plus, tell them AM 560 sent you, and Air Right will give you $56 off any service. Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling, doing it right since 1959.
Hear sound teaching from God's Word from Dr. David Jeremiah on Turning Point. Each weekday morning at 9:30 on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life. It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560. The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Former TV host for 10 years. He ran his show Maximum Archery on the Outdoor Channel, the Sportsman Channel, Pursuant Network. He also is the CEO of American Rebel. What's that? It's a lot of cool stuff. From beer to rock and roll. He's even got a 1981 Corvette. We're going to make sure it's an 81. We'll do that and so much more. By the way, Tommy, I'm not going to take you. You're a Democrat. You're good for nothing. Get off the line, you red Democrats, after Fox.
This is a Fox News alert. Somber news from NASCAR. I'm Tom Graham, Fox News. Two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Kyle Busch has died after a sudden and severe illness, which sent him to the hospital. That, according to NASCAR, Busch ranks 9th all-time in NASCAR wins with 63. Was a two-time season champion. He was 41 years old. A fragile ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran continues as the two sides negotiate a more permanent deal. The Trump administration proposing another peace deal to Tehran as leaders from Pakistan help mediate.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio say there's a hope that the United States and Tehran are getting closer on a peace deal that will bring an end to the war. As it stands, Iranian leaders are still reviewing the latest counter-peace proposal from Washington. Pakistan's Interior Minister back in Tehran for the second time in less than a week to help mediate the talks. Stopping Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon is certainly the primary goal, but the administration says Iran charging a toll to allow shipping pass through the Strait of Hormuz is also a deal breaker.
That is Fox's Ashley Webster there. President Trump ordering 5,000 troops to Poland as part of a NATO deployment.
The president says because of the election of Poland's president, Karol Nawrocki, the U.S. is sending an additional 5,000 troops to the country. Poland is a NATO member sharing borders with Ukraine and the Russian enclave of Kaliningrad. President Trump's announcement of additional U.S. forces deploying to Poland appears to reverse an earlier announcement from the Pentagon that a 5,000 troop deployment would be delayed as the Trump administration considers reducing the force posture in Europe. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
And gunmen opening fire in two separate attacks today on the Honduran coast, killing at least 16 people, including 6 police officers. Those officers were assigned to an anti-gang mission. America's listening to Fox News.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the Kennedy, downtown to O'Hare, 50 minutes, still looks good. Outbound Edens. Eisenhower outbound crash at Mannheim. 2 left lanes are blocked. It's an hour and 25 out to 390, 1 hour to Wolf Road. And traffic is solid all the way from Racine. Stevenson outbound 45 to Saba Lakeshore Drive to 355. Dan Ryan out 28, slowing in the Express. Garfield to Marquette. DuSable Lakeshore Drive remains heavy either way, and we're still seeing delays on the Tri-State both directions. The Jane Addams, the Reagan, and 355 also slowing down in both directions as well, and northbound 53 heavy into Euclid with road work. This report is the service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcast at 560theanswer.com/podcast. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be cloudy with a low of 50. On Friday, expect mostly cloudy skies with breezy conditions and a high of 67. Friday night will bring cloudy skies with a couple of showers and a low of 55. Saturday will start with a passing morning shower, then remain mostly cloudy throughout the day with a high of 66. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 30% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com, 800-LifeLock, 1-800-LifeLock, or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
If moving safely around your home is a concern, you deserve clear answers, not a sales pitch. Access will help you improve home accessibility with practical solutions like lifts, grab bars, and home modifications, designed to fit your home, your needs, and budget. Experienced professionals will take the time to explain your options so you can make an informed decision. If staying safe and comfortable in your home matters to you, start with a free in-home consultation. Call Access at 630-616-6249 or visit allaboutaccess.com.
You know, protecting your home should not be a headache. Many security companies, they lock you into these multi-year contracts. No, Simply Safe Home Security, they do things differently. With Simply Safe, you get award-winning 24/7 professional monitoring around $1 a day without any long-term commitment. Simply Safe, they just want to earn your trust every day by doing a great job. Right now, you'll get 50% off your custom system by going to simplysafe.com/Hannity. Half off when you go to simplysafe.com/Hannity. And remember, there's no safe like Simply Safe.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
You know, Squirrel, some people just survive and others thrive. My next guest is somebody who's been thriving. That's him right there.
Told to me, the working man built this land and fought to keep it free. They knew we had to do what it took to keep our families safe. Now you wanna throw it all away. But if you try to take my rights, you're in for one hell of a fight.
Excellent. That used to be everybody. Everybody used to be proud to be an American. But now we're infiltrated with Marxist, communist, mafia members who want to attack everything that is American. My next guest isn't going to allow that to happen any more than I am or you are. The difference is he's very talented. TV host for 10 years. He actually is somebody who is a very successful singer, founder, and CEO of the American Rebel. He does everything from gun safes, and apparently one day he needed a beer run. He said, screw it, we'll make it. He has beer, and somebody told him he looks sexy. He also has patriotic apparel. Andy Ross, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Blessed to be here. Thank you for having me today.
We're all blessed to be here. Why are so many damn determined to give it away?
You know, I just have no idea. I used to tell this to kids. Now I have to tell it to everybody. But everybody should have a globe beside their bed. When they wake up in the morning, spin that thing, put your finger down on it and stop it. And wherever it lands, imagine living there and trying to live out your dream. If your finger lands on the United States of America, you are truly blessed. And you should get up and celebrate that every day.
And we are the only place, and you as citizens are the only ones who, in theory, the country was designed around your unalienable rights. And the only restraints in this country, the only that are ever to exist, are on government. And this is something we have to constantly remind people. But I don't think it's a coincidence that these people want to take away not just the First Amendment, but the Second, which is a big part of your life. And it's funny because your show was Maximum Archery. So you weren't dealing in guns. You were dealing in old-fashioned hunting with bows and arrows. But you're an outdoorsman and you're an American. Of course you got to have the gun. And it's amazing to watch these pansies. Really, and I say that because if you're afraid of the gun, you're either a pansy or a willful advertised victim. No American should be afraid of the gun. It's the gun that made it certain we were never to be victims. And yet you built a career on American hunting and American principles, and then you went into manufacturing gun safes. So that's why you always have to focus on what the government is doing. And it's always the same governments, always the Democrat governments, isn't it?
It's the same every time. You know, the Second Amendment, I always say it's the amendment that protects all the other amendments. And, you know, as a country, when we grew up, I'm old enough to remember where we almost taught a little bit about firearm safety, even in school, as early as grade school.
Yeah.
And there's so many, you know, for someone, I almost get if someone could be afraid of guns. What I don't understand is if they're a little afraid of the gun, why aren't they taking one of the multitude of courses available everywhere? If you've never held a handgun before, there's introduction to handgun classes all over the place. There's information online. I would think that would be, you know, I'm sure when people learn how to drive at some point, they might have been afraid of a car the first time they got behind the wheel, but you learned.
Well, you know,
there's so much information out there.
And the thing, Andy, the beauty of us being older is we were taught how to live life and how to thrive at it rather than be victims of it. And if you look around at these kids, I'm old enough to have kids that are they just got through with college. They're not interested in what we were interested in. We could not wait to get out there, to go drive a car, to go to work, to make money, to challenge life. These kids are afraid of their own shadow. And, you know, that's exactly how every slave, every communist, every socialist, every Marxist, every Democrat, it's how they live. The similarities are undying. So I'm wondering, where did you grow up? And where, because I know you're going after this New York State, and it's celebrating its going after gun owners, but where did you grow up?
I grew up in a small town in the southeast corner of Kansas called Chanute, Kansas. And very small town population. I lived there till I was about 17, till I moved to Kansas City. We could go duck hunting before school during duck season. We'd get to school about 20 minutes late. And yes, our shotguns were still hanging in the back of our trucks in the school parking lot. And our principal would just look at us and go, "Boys, I know it's duck season, but you know, you got to move along a little faster tomorrow." We'd say, "Okay, Mr. Dillman." And he'd say, "Oh, by the way, how'd you do?" we'd be, hey, we tagged out. He'd be like, good job, guys.
See,
it was a different world.
Well, what's nice, too, though, is I had to ask you that because the reality is in New York State, that can be the same case. In fact, if you go up and down the East Coast, and what is now all Democrat mafia areas, there were people raised just like you, thought about the country just like you. It's really amazing to watch how that cancer of consciousness, that cancer of character, has infiltrated through these Democrat areas, these urban areas, and what they've done to the principles of Americanism. And the idea that you went from host to entrepreneur, that doesn't shock me, because the reason I think you became a host is because you were always an entrepreneur and you just stumbled on an opportunity. But it's fascinating to watch all of the things you developed. Which came first, the rock star after the TV show? Did the manufacturer of gun safes? Did the manufacturer of beer? Did the patriotic apparel? What was the succession of how you developed into what you are?
All right. So first off, I started to manufacture bows. I had a passion for bow hunting. I was involved in all the gun sports and the shooting sports, but when it came to hunting, as I got older, it was all archery. I started Ross Archery. I started manufacturing bows, and I couldn't get any of the TV celebrities to shoot my bow on TV because they all had contracts with the other bow companies. So I had a friend that used to film for the Drury Brothers, my main man, Mike. I said, Mike, would you film some of my hunts? We went on 5 or 6 hunts, had 4 really good successes. We edited that into a DVD, and I just put the DVD in the box with the bows. That's all I could do. And then one landed on the desk of someone at the Outdoor Channel, and the next thing I know, they were calling me to do a TV show. So I thought it would be a lot of fun, on the show to have some proprietary music. I could play and I could write. So I wrote some hunting songs, Gotta Go Hunting Blues, Hunt Me Down, Buck of a Lifetime, Blood Trail on a Whitetail, Support Your Local Wildlife. And I truly wrote them just for the success of the show, to give it a rock and roll vibe, give it a little edge. I did not know file sharing was coming out, iTunes was coming out. All those things hit. Music went crazy. Nashville started calling, putting into a music career. On my Time to Fight record in 2015, I had a song called American Rebel, went viral as a patriotic anthem, landed me on Counting Cars. We built a brand around it. And now we just launched America's patriotic, God-fearing, Constitution-loving, national anthem singing, Stand Your Ground beer. So that's how it all happened, man. It's just been one blessing after another.
And that's what kids have to understand, because you really never worked. You just did things you loved, and it grew into opportunities. I absolutely love the story. And it's fascinating, too, to realize the bow company, people don't realize bows and the different variety there are very lethal weapons, very, very lethal weapons. So I'm curious to know how you've seen that arena change. Is that arena being attacked and regulated? Because in my old neighborhood, we didn't have hunters. We had half-ass wise guys, and they always liked the bow because there was no big bang. It didn't draw a lot of attention, especially at night.
Yeah, the same people that are attacking the Second Amendment, they attack it from all angles. They attack hunting. If they attack hunting and all forms of it, then that somehow slides into a slide door of attacking guns and putting restrictions on gun owners when they put restrictions on the things that surround. And the archery, the old stick bows, which I love to shoot, the long bows, the recurves moved into compound bows, and of course now a lot of people are hunting with these crossbows, which is almost like firing a firearm, except you're shooting a stick instead of a bullet. But
and it's quiet.
They come in with their restrictions. Yeah, it's quiet.
So what's interesting is now I'm in Florida and I love it. I mean, I absolutely love it. They've pulled off all restrictions. And by the way, I always had a gun here. I just didn't tell anybody. That's the other thing. Shh, be quiet.
Nobody's business.
It's nobody's business, and it shouldn't be.
Not supposed to be.
But down in Florida, what's fascinating to watch evolve is the different ways to secure the weapon, in the car, out of the car.
Sure.
You also have a gun safe manufacturing company as well, right?
I do. We started American Rebel in 2015 with our concealed carry clothing, backpacks, coats, jackets, moved into gun safes in 2019, and actually were able to buy out our OEM manufacturer in 2022, which is Champion Safe. And what's really funny? I'm just going to throw this out there. It never fails. This happens about every 4 months, every 6 months. I get a call from someone that's trying to do a little bit of gun restrictions. It's trying to put, handcuffs on gun owners. And they want me to actually get behind it because they say, now, wouldn't it be great if the law required everybody to have a safe and have to lock up their guns? And I'm like, let me tell you something. I am all for responsible gun ownership. I have no problem people want to take classes. I encourage them to take a class, Introduction to Handgun Safety. Take the class. I encourage people to own a safe. You telling somebody and you trying to pass a law that says they have to do that, that they have these restrictions that they have to follow to own a firearm, I'm sorry. If someone comes flying through my house and I'm asleep, I don't have time to open a safe. I know where mine are at. And but wouldn't it benefit you, Andy, if people had to own a safe? I said I cannot get behind that. There's no way I could support that.
It's backdoor fascism. This is the way they lure people, right? It's always the way.
Right.
You lure them into the illusion. It's kind of like capitalism. We're going to steer them a little bit in your direction. You'll sell more safes, and they hope you abandon the principles of why you loved it, why you created the safe, why you loved the gun, why you had the hunting channel. And, like I said, there was a time in Illinois, before they had the FOID card, everybody in my neighborhood had a gun. Nobody said a word. To this day, when I go to sleep, there's a gun within a foot and a half of me. And you want to know what I tell people, especially the ones I'm related to? No, there shouldn't be a gun. The only dangerous part is the one with the hole in it. Stay away from that end. And if you come home at night, say something like I'm home, so I don't make sure you have to go to the mortuary, the funeral home. So say something or wish you did. And this is the way things should be. The idea that we're going to make things safe for people by taking away all the rights, that's what turns you into a slave country, isn't it?
It does. I'm out at my cabin right now out south of Nashville. I have a condo, high-rise condo downtown Nashville. And by the condo, when I walk out the door, right down the street's a bank. And you know what? That bank's got an armed guard in it. And 2 doors down from that bank, there's a jewelry store. And that jewelry store has an armed guard in it. And I get it. There's a lot of money in that bank. There's a lot of value in those jewels and diamonds that are in that store. But don't tell me that my tractor, that my family, that my belongings, that my things that were handed down to me from my grandparents and great-grandparents, don't tell me my stuff doesn't mean as much to me as the stuff that they have that they're protecting. They can hire an armed security guard. I don't need to hire an armed security guard. I take care of it myself. But don't tell me I can't arm my residence, my place, my property, that it's not as valuable to me as any possession anyone else has.
Andy, we've got this moron simpleton with ridiculous idiot mayor in Chicago, all right? Walks around with the faux hawk. Chicago has devolved into a third world ghetto. Right now on the television, there's another 13-year-old shot in the head. All the gun laws out the yin-yang. And this imbecile comes on and says, we're going to do more gun laws. We're going to do more restrictions.
Yeah.
He has 100. Listen to this scam. 150. I wish I was making this up, Andy. 150 Chicago coppers as his security detail. When he goes to somewhere, you think it was the Shaw of Zimbabwe. Yeah, I mean, you have to see, it's got the cars and get the hell out of here. He doesn't do that just because he knows he'll get his ass kicked in a man fight. He does that to show everybody he's the real God among men. And you're just the simp. You're the serf. Yeah. And the idea we lose the premise of this argument tells you can't coexist with these moron Democrats. They justify their fascism. They justify taking over our amendments. And this must have led you to drinking. How'd you come up with the beer?
Well, first of all, I don't know how anybody got shot in Chicago. Their gun laws are so wonderful there. I don't even see how anyone could even, get shot. Makes no sense. But the tightest gun laws in the country have the highest crime in the country. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
How I got into making beer, when we started American Rebel, the idea from the song American Rebel I had out, the song was the mission statement. The idea it was America's patriotic brand. And I wanted to see American Rebel beer, American Rebel grills, American Rebel tools, American Rebel motor oil, wheelbarrows, pull cues. I wanted Susie to go to Mom and say, Mom, what's Dad want for Father's Day? And she would say, honey, anything with American Rebel on it. It's a lifestyle brand. So when a competitor in the light beer industry, kind of made a wrong turn and the market opened up, and somebody, we got about 10,000 emails of people going, your brand would be perfect. And we were already working on a beer. It was kind of, it wasn't necessarily on the fast track of the front burner, but we were working on it. And we just thought, you know what, this country of ours, by the way, one of the many things it does better than any other country is provide opportunity mixed with difficulty. It's all hard. You have to work. You hit your head against the wall. You probably don't succeed the first time or second time or third time, but there was an opportunity sitting right in front of us, and we knew how to take advantage of it.
Now, do you have a non-alcoholic? I gave up the booze. You know why? I end up in a prison cell or a strip joint. Neither one are good for a successful marriage. So do you have a non-alcoholic alternative?
You know, we do not, but you would be amazed at how many requests we get for that. We get more requests for that than people coming up going, hey, do you have like an IPA? And I say, well, if we were going to do an IPA, it would be an APA, but no, we don't. We're focused on that light beer market, but we get a lot of requests for a non-alcoholic beer, and I see a lot more of them on the shelves today than I ever have.
Especially with the older and the DUIs and both the fact, people are starting to lose the excitement about waking up in a prison cell. I kind of lost it a few years ago, but what else is interesting is I just came from a meeting this afternoon. Schlitz closed down. Now, I'm sure you heard, everybody knows Schlitz, sure. But in the Midwest, it's bigger than big. 160 years, 170 years, they just closed it down because they kept tweaking it. And, someone's going to come along and revisit that. So let me know if you need a little, if you're going into the business you're growing. I just had a meeting. Things could be coming together here, Andy Ross.
Let's go.
All right.
Again, opportunity mixed with difficulty. I'm sure there's something to it. We have the only all-natural light beer on the market, no corn syrup, no rice extract. We know people try the beer because of the messaging on the can and the packaging, but if they don't like what's inside the can, they're not going to continue to make it their beer of choice. So we worked really hard on it, and it's going really well. We're in 18 states now and having a good time.
Love it. Andy Ross, CEO of American Rebel, living the American dream, all because he abides by the American principles. I love what you're doing. And where's the one? Do you have one website that links us to everything?
AmericanRebelBeer.com for American Rebel Beer, AndyRoss.com for the music. And you can also just go to AmericanRebel.com and link to everything. So,
all right. Well, and I'm not going to argue. 69 Corvette, I'm going to go with you. It's yours. You have the title and everything. But boy, oh boy, I could have swore it was an 81. I love it either way. Thank you for even driving the car I like. I really appreciate what you do, Andy.
Thank you kindly. I appreciate being on today.
Thank you. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
Make money, smoke cigars, and live free on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Making the switch to a new communications and IT company may seem like a big ordeal, but if you're not getting the reliable support, consistent internet, and secure solutions your company needs, meet Access One, your local Chicagoland IT experts. Access One has been powering Chicago businesses with secure, reliable IT solutions for over 30 years from our headquarters right here in the West Loop. Whether it's VoIP phones, dedicated internet, managed cybersecurity, cloud backups, or 24/7 support, Access One is here for you. Serving thousands of companies from Naperville to the North Shore, Access One is Chicago-owned and Chicago-run, a trusted IT partner for law firms, clinics, tech startups to manufacturers. We'll make the switch easier than you think. Let's talk. Call 800-804-8333 or visit accessoneInc.com. Rated top 5% in customer satisfaction and a Better Business Bureau A+ rated business. That's accessoneInc.com. Tech made personal, locally.
When the seasons shift, you need a heating and cooling team you can trust to keep your home just right. That's where Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling, the original, comes in. This family-owned gem has been a local favorite for more than 45 years, sending only their own top-notch, highly trained technicians to your door. Whether it's a quick repair, a full installation, or anything in between, their work is unmatched, and their customer service feels like family. Keeping you cozy in the winter and cool in the summer, Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling delivers comfort you can count on. I've known Garrett and his family for years, and they are great friends of AM 560. Dial 847-545-1700 or visit ArlingtonHeightsHeatingandCooling.com. Mention AM 560 and enjoy 20% off your first service call. Again, go to ArlingtonHeightsHeatingandCooling.com. The original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling, not the biggest, but absolutely the best.
You know what scared Kathy more than surgery? Giving up her active life, turning down opportunities to do the things she loves.
I found myself saying, no, I don't want to do that because of pain. It was really limiting my activities in every way.
And then came the diagnosis.
You need 2 full knee replacements. I don't have time for a double knee replacement, and I don't like pain. So No.
But that's not how her story ends. She tried something different. QC Kinetics. It was cutting edge, but natural and much easier on her body, with thousands of patient success stories.
I went to QC Kinetics. Within a couple of weeks, I was absolutely pain-free, no pain. I feel fantastic. Too much life to live, and I want to stay in motion as long as I possibly can.
Don't let pain decide what you say yes or no to. Live your best life. They'll make sure of it at QC Kinetics, starting with a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 312-827-6261. That's 312-827-6261. 312-827-6261.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $283. There are only two good things about aging: wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part? My guidance costs you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
If you're considering investing in precious metals, don't wait. The Iranian conflict seems to be nearing an end, and the time is now to position your retirement for massive growth. Advantage Gold is America's #1 precious metals company, and they want to send you a free gold and silver investor guide valued at $49 when you call 800-900-8000. Plus, you'll get a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Our specialists can help you open a new account or transfer funds from an existing IRA, tax and penalty-free, and show you how a gold-backed IRA can put real, tangible assets into your retirement portfolio. Markets react to news cycles, but gold has maintained its value through inflation, volatility, and economic uncertainty. When the purchasing power of the dollar declines, that's when investors turn to gold and silver. Make your move now. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Results may vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
It's interesting, David. He writes the commercials, and they're commercials based on so many different people and ways in which he helped them. See, David Hochberg has helped hundreds of thousands of people secure not just loans, but their home, the dreams, their investment property. Sally and Bob and their newborn son, Gus, they were renters, paying somebody else's equity down, constantly growing their wealth and instead of their own. They had a combined income because they worked their ass off. $200,000. They didn't know what to do, so they called, thankfully, Team Hochberg. They got pre-qualified. David answered all of their questions. He introduced them to a fantastic real estate broker who told them exactly what to look for. Don't buy around rat Democrats. You're going to lose a fortune. So they listened to him, and they got the money, and now they live under their own roof, and their son plays in their own yard, and they don't have to listen to somebody else who raises their rent at will. Team Hochberg has helped Sally, Bob, secure a future for their new son, Gus, but they can't help you if you don't call. Call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. That's 56david.com. Google Team Hochberg to read any of their 755-star reviews. Check it all out for yourself. But if you need that number again, 855-563-2843. That's 855-563-2843 or online at 56david.com. Atlantic Coast Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 613114. When we get back, 312-642-5600. I'll take your calls and comments. If you're not a Biden voter, if you're not a Harris voter, if you're not a Brandon Johnson voter or J.B. Pritzker voter or any other Democrat voter, because if you are the problem. You are the cancer of character. You are the American communist mafia fascist. And you think you're onto something rather than recognizing everywhere you rule, everywhere from a municipality to a state, bankrupt and corrupt. We'll be back after Mike Scott.
He said, "You are a whore," and he speaks the truth.
Good evening, Shaun. In our QC Kinetics newsroom, we see clouds tonight with a low of 51. Today, the Trump administration announced it's loosening restrictions on grocery stores and air conditioning companies designed to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The president criticized the impact of the Biden-era regulations.
Many grocery stores and restaurants had no choice but to replace their refrigerators entirely. They went out of business, half of them. Americans faced higher grocery prices and reduced access to critical medical supplies.
Environmentalists are criticizing the rollback. A Cook County judge has rejected a petition for a special prosecutor to investigate federal agents involved in Operation Midway Blitz. Cook County State's Attorney Eileen O'Neill Burke has opposed that request. Cubs and White Sox are off. Jerry Stackhouse may be the new head coach of the Chicago Bulls. And the news, a service of True Green. True Green, the easiest way to get a golf course quality lawn. Don't wait. Sign up at truegreen.com and get your first application for $9.95. True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour. Hurry, offer ends 5/21, restrictions apply. Your next news comes your way at 7. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. Up next in the AM 560 Traffic Center, here is Jill Urchek.
On the outbound Edens, there are delay-free conditions. Still the Kennedy 45, Janeburn Interchange to O'Hare. Watch out for a stall at Lake, blocking the right lanes. The express lanes outbound have a crash at Belmont on the shoulder, so that's a bit tight. Outbound Eisenhower, 1 hour and 5. Post Office 2390. The accident at Manheim is gone. Stevenson out 30 minutes to 355. And the outbound Dan Ryan, 18 minutes out to 95th Express. Still struggling a bit. Garfield to Marquette. DuSable Lakeshore Drive is still busy in both directions, but getting better. Tri-State the same. Both directions are delayed, and all the tollways showing delays, but easing up. This report is a service of the AM 560 store. Order T-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Prof University and the Shaun Thompson Show when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect cloudy skies with a low of 50. Moving into Friday, it'll be mostly cloudy and breezy with a high of 67. Friday night will bring cloudy conditions with a couple of showers and a low of 55. As we head into Saturday, anticipate a passing morning shower followed by thick cloud cover and a high of 66. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver from New Nordic. Search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon, CVS, Wegmans, or GNC.
Hey, it's Scott Tucker and my new co-host,
Amy Jacobson,
on AM 560. We wanted you to know that we have a special show every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. here on AM 560, The Answer. It is Retirement Decoded with Scott Tucker and
Amy Jacobson.
It's every Sunday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. 2-hour show, 2-hour radio extravaganza. Amy, we're going to tantalize the listening public and the listening private with all kinds of retirement planning information. So tune in at AM 560 Sunday mornings at 7 a.m.
Hey, I'm Kirk Cameron. Is health insurance eating up your budget for 2026? If you're looking for ways to better steward your finances, consider this: Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's a health insurance alternative at half the cost. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. While insurance companies tell you when to join, what to pay, and where to go, CHM is different. As a ministry, CHM allows you to share the burden of medical bills with other Christians. You can enroll, switch programs, or leave at any time. Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's a world of difference. CHM has 4 flexible programs. You can pick any certified doctor, surgeon, or hospital that you want for eligible care. So make the switch. Take your paycheck back from health insurance this year. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878. It's almost time once again for the annual AM 560 Golf Outing, presented by Signature Bank. AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation to help them support America's first responder and military heroes, to help America never forget 9/11. This year, our golf outing is happening on Monday, June 15th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. When you purchase a foursome to join us, you'll enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. And if you're a business owner, when you purchase a foursome, you'll also receive an AM 560 marketing campaign, which includes 25 one-minute commercials to air on AM 560 Monday through Friday between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. and a free digital marketing analysis. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. That's 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Nolan Webster and by real estate broker Ed Dream at leavingil.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Selling a collection or just the high-end antiques? Get top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
A lot of good news happening. Lots and lots and lots.
A former Justice Department prosecutor is facing criminal charges. They relate to special counsel Jack Smith's investigation of President Trump. Federal prosecutors say Carmen Lineberger secretly emailed...
Carmi Lineberger. Limeyburger? Boy, that's an unfortunate name. I'd like a table for two. Limeyburger? Get the hell out of here, you rat pig Democrat. What I love about this is it proves the other allegations. That pock-faced scumbag, Jack Smith, was an apparatchik of the corrupt Democrat mafia. See, in case you didn't know, Jack Smith's wife is a producer, allegedly, but really just a bag woman, and they run all the enriching to the Obamas through Netflix. And they get all kinds of breaks and benefits and money from taxpayers. And they run this organization by weaponizing the Department of Justice, at least up until now.
Over the weekend, Mr. President, he suggested that there's still people in your DOJ and FBI that are waiting you out. They're waiting until your administration is over to get back to work. Do you think those people are still in the DOJ and FBI?
I hope not. Well, we're going to seek them out. We'll seek them out. We'll get rid of them. Okay? Because you have in every agency, you have scum. And certainly they did in the FBI and DOJ. But Todd Blanche is doing a fantastic job. Cash?
I like what he called them. Scum. Like the scum that destroy our great city, the scum that destroy Cook County, the scum that destroy Illinois or Dolton or Harvey or Cal City, all the same scum.
A former Justice Department prosecutor is facing criminal charges. They relate to special counsel Jack Smith's investigation of President Trump. Federal prosecutors say Carmen Lineberger secretly emailed sensitive investigative documents to her personal accounts. The indictment allegedly occurred while she served as a senior federal prosecutor in South Florida. Lineberger is accused of disguising the files with names like chocolate cake recipe and bundt cake recipe to conceal.
Do you know why? Lineberger, like so many of the Duchess of Chafington supporters, has a big fat ass. And she figured if we hide it under delicious foods, who will know? After all, I'm just a Hillary Clinton lookalike and supporter.
Conceal the transmissions from government record searches. In a social media post, FBI Director Kash Patel called the investigation politicized and said the Bureau would hold accountable those who abuse the public's trust. Lineberger pleaded not guilty in federal court yesterday. She faces charges including obstruction of justice, concealment of government records, and theft of government property.
Now, hopefully, when you put her in jail, she won't enjoy hedonism the way Hillary Clinton and Uma Aberdeen would by perfecting the scissors.
Fox News alert, Republican Senator Chuck Grassley releasing bombshell evidence tying Hillary and Obama to the Russia hoax. One email says, quote, HRC approved campaign advisor Julie's idea about Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections. That should distract people from her own missing emails. Here's another smoking gun. Quote, among other things, the Clinton staff, with support from special services, is preparing scandalous revelations of business relations between Trump and the Russian mafia. Who's special services?
See, the allegations that I make are between the Democrats and the limp-wristed mafia, the ones that run these Democrat dungholes, once great areas. It's real easy to spot. And you know what you need to wrap up all this government corruption? You need dirty fracking cops. And are there any dirtier fracking cops than the Capitol Police? I'm talking to you scumbags, not just the ones who assassinated Ashley Babbitt, but this meatball. I'll ear slap the taste out of this. How do you say his name? Fanoni. Yeah, that's about right.
Calls are growing for a full audit of former D.C. Metro Police Officer Michael Fanone's bank accounts after recently released body cam footage from January 6, 2021 shows medics telling him he had, quote unquote, no severe injuries and everything was fine. This directly contradicts his later hospital bed photos, media tour, and sworn congressional testimony.
Because like a whore, they gave him a big lump of money and he faked his injuries. And they dropped evidence. They dropped everything, including gun magazines, on that PSYOP fraud perpetrated by our crooked rat coppers in the Capitol Police and the FBI.
January 6, 2021, 2:41 p.m. Watch closely as this United States Capitol Police officer is about to drop a gun magazine on the ground moments before election theft protesters make entrance into the Capitol. Pay attention to his hands as he will quickly toss it to the side. There it is, a magazine for a handgun.
Throws it against the wall, Squirrel. It's for everyone
to see. Do you
see
see it?
It's a little different on radio, but you get the bigger picture. Now another Capitol policeman.
Now watch as another officer walks right beside the magazine.
Right past it.
Almost stepping on it, while another stands feet away and doesn't notice a gun magazine laying on the ground in the heart of democracy.
About nearly dying. Medics examined Fanone on scene. Watch.
No obvious severe injuries. Can't find any fractures. Pupils are equal. Open your mouth. All right. Dizzy at all? You can stay here and rest until you're feeling better. Thanks. Need some water to wash out the...
He flopped on the ground like a crooked fighter that took a dive. That's the Fanoni. And January 6th coppers throwing the evidence around and walking past it. And people will say, well, after all, it's just three Democrats with costumes on posing as police. And everybody knows from the Democrats we see around us, they're stupid. Shouldn't you cut them a break? No. They all receive the payoff. Like Fanoni.
You see us? No, it's fine now. It's my photo.
He's okay now? You okay?
Go ahead, Jimmy. I'm out here on the south, right where we walked in.
Fraud. And you know the nice thing about these Democrat gangsters who pose as congressmen and senators? They don't even have to run it through their campaign coffers. I mean, after all, if you just take Nancy Pelosi, she's worth $500 million in the Ro Khanna insider trading fashion.
She makes, I think, $174,000 a year, yet she has a net worth of approximately $413 million. In 2024, Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio, this was a fascinating statistic to me, grew 70% in 1 year in 2024, and her portfolio outperformed every single large hedge fund in that same year, and even more than doubled the returns of Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway.
And Tom Massey, he would have palled around with Nancy, too, if she could get off the table and put her top on the whore. Glenn, Oak Creek, Wisconsin.
Hi. I got a question for you. I heard you talking about Tucker Carlson and them, and I can't believe what has happened to them. But I have two great sons. Both of them drive for DHL. The oldest, we used to talk about conservative stuff a lot. Well, he has been listening to that Nick Fuentes guy, and he's been saying not bad anti-Semitic type things, but just things like, well, yeah, I heard that Israel runs the government and the AI, this and that. And can you tell me more about
Well, did you hear my first hour?
A little bit. That's why I'm calling.
All right. Well, you're gonna love it. You go online tonight, today on 560 The Answer. Google my name and look it up, because what he is a true fraud. He's a true fraud. He's somebody who is a direct recipient of money from Qatar, the Middle East, and he's somebody who has no qualifications anyway. He's a punk kid. Never worked a day in his life, has his communion suit on, and all you have to do to tell your son, which he probably doesn't know, is that he's built a little bit of a cult. They're called something. What is it called? Gropers, bunch of sick morons. Listen to this. Just listen to this so you could tell your son, Glenn.
Raise your right hand. All right, everybody raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I will kill, rape, and die for Nicholas J. Fuentes. Raise your right hand. All right, everybody raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I will kill, rape, and die for Nicholas J. Fuentes.
Now, that's not a comedy act or a bit or anything else. This is how his show used to run, Glenn. So you tell your kid, you got to be smarter than that than to listen to this scumbag. And if you want to listen to him, just turn on any of these other podcasters. This girl, I believe, what's her name? Caspian? Something Caspian. She used to be on Young Turks on a communist. This is a Democrat, and supposedly the guy who is kind of on the right, but we don't know.
Our country is under a hostile occupation.
Israeli occupation of the United States government.
Israel controls our government.
Israel controls our government.
Control and influence and manipulate our system.
Ruled and controlled and manipulated by the nation state of Israel.
They are vampires. They suck our blood.
They suck the life out of this country.
So you understand they get their talking points from Qatar. And Qatar, by the way, gives 300% more money to propagandists, to politicians in America than AIPAC. Did you know that, Glenn?
No, but that's very interesting. And what my friend said is that what Nick Fuentes does is he'll throw a little bit of truth in with a bunch of garbage, and the way he says it and talks so fast.
It's a cult. It's a cult. It's a cult. He's a con artist. He's a punk kid. Tell your son you don't listen to anybody who never worked in their life. Number one, let's start with one simple rule. Only take advice and opinions by people who have earned it. That's simple. With some punk kid, never did anything in his life except make a lot of money because he's bribed.
Let's talk AIPAC. I'm sure that you've seen the graphics and the headlines about how Israel controls our country, right? And at first glance, it's easy to believe because there's so much information out there, but I wanted to know the facts, so I went down a rabbit hole and I looked it all up. So let's start with the Foreign Agents Registration Act. That's called FARA. Basically, if you work for a foreign country trying to influence American policy, you got to register under this law. Right? So who signed up? Qatar, they have 31 registered agents. Israel has 15, more than double. I also found out that from 21 to 25, Qatari agents had 627 in-person meetings with members of Congress. That's 300 more meetings than any other country on the earth, including Israel. Now, about AIPAC, they're made up of Americans lobbying their own government. Just like Indian Americans have USIPAC, Armenian Americans have ANCA, the Greek Americans have HALC, H-A-L-C, Ukrainian Americans have, I think it's UCCA, Muslim Americans have CARE, MPAC, USCMO, and dozens more, and none of these groups are really the problem. The real problem is foreign government money. I mean, Qatar spent roughly $250 million on U.S. lobbying. Saudi Arabia around $310 million. UAE is in the fourth most active country. It's 3 Gulf states. China, $500 million. Japan, $400 million. And as a comparison, AIPAC and the entire broader pro-Israel network gave around $100 million in the 24 cycle.
So Israel owns our country because they gave $100 million. Qatar gave $400. China gave $500. UAE gave $400. And they don't own the country? Only the Jew does? Now,
Qatar. Oh, sorry.
No, you've been around a while, right, Glenn?
Yeah.
Okay, right. You've been around a while. You ever have a Jewish fella, a Jew in your neighborhood, come on television and tell you you're going to convert to Judaism, and Judaism will be in every home? Did you ever hear of the Jewish fatwa, whatever, where they're going to kill the infidel and take over America? Did you ever hear that?
No, I only know one person from Israel, and he's a doctor, and I've never heard anything.
Yeah, and the best guy of your life. You know why? I only like religions that don't want me in it, Glenn. The ones that want me to conform, I'm not interested. Not to mention there's that sticky little problem with them and the pedophiles. 312-642-5600.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show, where Democrats are always wrong, Republicans are seldom right, and politicians are never, ever to be trusted. On AM 560, The Answer.
Memorial Day is more than a long weekend. It's a time to honor the men and women who gave everything for this country. And what better way to show your patriotism than with a handcrafted American flag built to last for generations? At uniquewoodenflags.com, every flag is handcrafted from quality wood with a beautiful rustic finish that turns any room, office, garage, or backyard into a tribute to America. Choose from classic American flags, military branch flags, thin blue line designs, Don't Tread on Me flags, our very popular Trump collection, and more. These aren't cheap plastic flags from a big box store. These are handcrafted pieces of American pride. Honor our heroes this Memorial Day and give a gift that actually means something. Visit uniquewoodenflags.com. That's uniquewoodenflags.com.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 30% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. 800-LifeLock. 1-800-LifeLock or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from IQ Bar. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at eatiqbar.com/policy/terms of service.
Most protein bars are packed with sugar, carbs, and unpronounceable ingredients. There's a much better option. I'm Will, and I crafted IQ Bar plant protein bars with clean, functional, delicious ingredients to empower doers like you with superior brain and body fuel.
Now you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping when you text radio to 64,000. That's radio to 64,000.
AM 560, The Answer.
And when people win in a race like this, there's evidence of it. And that evidence takes very familiar forms. Enthusiasm, joy, and just sheer numbers. Like, people show up. They can't believe it. We beat the evil Thomas Massey with his jihadi backers. This is a blow against Islamic Jihad, whatever that is. Islamic Jihad, which along with Hamas is one of the big problems in the 4th District of Kentucky. They've been very, very concerned about Islamic Jihad and Hamas and Hezbollah.
Maybe they're just worried about their kids. You know, the ones that in these Islamo-Nazi third world sphincter of the earth called the Middle East, the ones that they buy and sell.
5 years old, 7 years, 9 years, 6 years old. These are girls already sold into marriage, many too young to even know their own ages. 8 years. They're often prompted by their guardians. 6 years. The husbands they'll go to are a decade or more older. The last to talk is 5 years old.
Didn't Tucker say they're just like us? Just like us.
The greatest leader I've ever met in the world is literally a king. It's MBZ Sheikh Mohammed of Abu Dhabi, who is Muslim. I am definitely not Muslim.
No, you're just a $2 whore.
And, you know, I'm happy to say that one of the first investments our new fund made was putting Tucker Carlson in business with his new network.
Carlson's network, the seed money came from a guy named Omid Malik, who's a Pakistani Iranian. He's Pakistani Iranian.
Ilk. He's a dad too, right? Kids? Scumbag.
If you're drowning in debt, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender.